Mansion Park in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Championship weekend rolls on with a final in AA. The champion out of the east, the Red Tornadoes of Mount Carmel. Champion out of the west, the Golden Eagles of Tyrone. Tyrone, 12 miles from the door at Mansion Park. It's sold out for the final in AA. Hello again, everyone. Jed Donahue along with Mark Shuey, the coach, Gary Sutton. Mark, these two teams contrasting styles somewhat, but Mount Carmel decided edge. Been here 2 years ago for a state championship run in AA. Went double overtime to beat a Tyrone arch rival, Forest Hills, 21-14.
Well, that's right. No question about it. Tyrone doesn't have the playoff experience that Mount Carmel does have, but what Tyrone does have is a lot of fourth quarter experience. Their last 3 games, they have come back to win in the fourth quarter. Talking about beating Forest Hills, Wilmington, and Aliquip all in the playoffs. Tyrone also has a very good ground game, led by 2,000-yard running back Marcus Owens. But Mount Carmel has one of the best defensive units in the entire state. Jed, Mount Carmel has given up just 74 points all year long. Amazing.
And you're looking at the Red Tornadoes being introduced to the sellout crowd. In the middle of the sellout crowd is Gary Sutton. Gary, it's probably going to be hard for you to hear today. A crowd of 10,000 plus. It'll set a record in AA today.
I have never seen the numbers down alongside the field the way they are today, Jed. People already alongside the fence here, about 2 deep. The fans are in the stands. There is not room to fit one more in, and this should be an absolutely outstanding atmosphere for football this afternoon.
Gary, let's tap into the coach a little bit inside of you, and let's talk about sellout crowd, emotions running high. Let's start with Tyrone. This is a community that really get behind their football team. They're 25-3 over the last 2 years. Lost last year in the semifinal to the state runner-up Burrell. What are you doing to try and keep your emotions in check? This is the 3rd time they've played on this surface this season.
Well, this is a program that's played football for 77 years, haven't been here since 1948, and they're a team that's anxious. They have a lot of emotion, and emotion is part of the ingredients that has gotten this team to this particular level. You've really got to make sure, however, this afternoon that you keep those motions kind of combined with good focus as you get out here onto the football field, because focus and execution is what's going to win the football game if you have a chance.
For Mount Carmel, they're probably the favorite, Gary, but one thing is they had a real tough matchup in the Eastern Final last week against Bishop McDevitt out of the Harrisburg area, the defending state champ, and that was a sellout at Shamokin. What about trying to keep your emotions in check or even get them higher for a state title tilt?
The most storied football program in Pennsylvania history. They've won 660 games as a program. They've played football literally forever. The names like Jazz Diminick ring strong in the past, but this particular program under Whitey Williams has done nothing but win the last few years. They've been to this dance before. 2 years ago, as you mentioned, state champions. They know how to win. They won a major game over the defending champion Bishop McDevitt last week, and they're a team, I think, that comes in with an awful lot of confidence this afternoon. When you've been here before, you know the recipe, and you know that focus is already the major part of the game. I think Whitey Williams has his team already ready for this afternoon.
Whitey Williams, at his 4th season, took over for one of the legendary coaches in Pennsylvania history. Mount Carmel is led by an outstanding player in Brett Veach, Mark.
Brett Veach is an absolutely outstanding player. He's going to be number 22, 5'11", 175 pounds, a second-team All-State player last year. He has run for over 2,000 yards and 25 touchdowns for the Red Tornado this year.
Vic Kornaski is their quarterback. He has had an outstanding season. He was unbelievable a week ago, ran for a score, passed for another. They hit McDevitt less than a minute into the game with a 65-yard touchdown.
Oh, that's right. That's going to be a problem for head coach John Franco of Tyrone. Just when you want to concentrate on shutting down Veach, Kornaski can kill you through the air. Over 1,400 yards through the air, including 13 TDs on the season.
This is an electric atmosphere here at Mansion Park. We're going to take you around as we gear up for the Star-Spangled Banner on a cloudy day here in Altoona, Pennsylvania at Mansion Park. The final in AA, Mount Carmel and Tyrone. It's sold right out, and we'll take you around with our national anthem.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to remain standing for the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner to be sung today by the Millwood Annis High School Women's Ensemble. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's flash? streaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of love.
Well, they're ready here at Mansion Park today for a much-anticipated matchup in the championship in AA. The Tyrone fans, they're 12 miles away. And the last one out, turn out the lights, as the saying goes.
Yeah, no kidding. Each and every inch of seating area is taken up over there. In fact, the PA announcer instructed the people to kind of scoot down along the benches to try to squeeze more people in because they were still on the way. It's just as crowded on the Mount Carmel side as Mount Carmel's looking for a second state title in 3 years, a double overtime thriller against an arch rival of Tyrone. Forest Hills 2 years ago in 1994 gave Mount Carmel the state title.
Let's go to midfield and get some of the action from the officials.
55 Blue Friday.
Red has won the toss. They have elected to receive. White will defend the scoreboard goal, the south goal. Gentlemen, come in, shake hands. Congratulations on being in the final. May
76 Mike Moyer and number 80.
the team with the most points win.
Well, the team with the most points, shall they win? Let's go to Gary Sutton. Gary, Tyrone believes that if they're close in the fourth quarter, it's winning time today for the Golden Eagles. But you got to get there first.
Well, I was talking with some Tyrone people down here, Jed, and they were a little upset because some of the word around the stadium here was that, hey, the championship game was last week, and this team on the other side of things, Mount Carmel's just in town to pick up the gold. Well, the Tyrone people have taken that kind of personally. They say, hey, the championship game's today. You haven't seen anything like us yet, and we're ready to do a little flying, and we do own the fourth quarter, and we'll be there when fourth quarter rolls around this afternoon.
I'll show you the offense right now for Mount Carmel. The big guy up front is Shikatano. He's an all-stater, 280-pounder is John Elsey, the center. Mike Boyer, one of the co-captains. Moving along to the skill people. Watch Sean Jamin. He's a tall, slender, built like 6 o'clock, gets open down the middle. Vic Kornaski's the quarterback. Brett Veach, he's the heart and soul. Costello, we'll talk a lot about him on defense.
He's Mount Carmel's all-time leading tackler, and there's been some good ones for the Red Tornadoes over the years. You mentioned Tyrone and their propensity to really turn it on in the fourth quarter. They were looking at a 7-6 deficit at halftime, and here you see the Tyrone defense. It's been very good throughout the regular season. Cliff McElwain is the defensive end. He'll be sandwiched in between Jason Brandt, Matt Denart, Ken Parks, John Siner, all a part of that defensive unit for Tyrone. Scott Bonsell, his brother Brian Bonsell at the linebacker spot, Matt Scherer. Free safety is Jared Anderson, also a fine cornerback. And the corner is Marcus Owens.
And we are ready to go, and this place is electric as we get started in the championship in AA. Kicking off for Tyrone right now is going to be Luke Friday, and he's a good one. Squibs it along the turf. Dave Evans picks it up at the 22-yard line. Evans across the 30, still battling, and down he goes. Boy, Tyrone, they just gang tackle, and that's why they're here. And I'll tell you, the special teams play is another reason they're here.
Well, that special teams play there, the squib kick, might have been by design because they really don't want Brett Veach to carry the ball as much as possible. They want to keep it out of his hands. He already has 2 TDs on kick returns this year.
Joe Costello, he'll be the short man. Brett Veach, 1,900 yards, runner-up in the 200 meters last spring in the PIAA track championships. Veach finds the going tough, and down he goes at the 30, right at the line of scrimmage. And hammering him there was Brian Bonsell, 5'11", 222 pounds. Stuffing it right there, Bonsell.
Well, Bonsell, yeah, comes right through and makes the hit. Nothing fancy about that first play for Mount Carmel. Just going right over center.
2nd and 10 now for Mount Carmel. Eastern champ winning a rugged cover last week against the defending state champs, Bishop McDevitt, 18-7. Kornaski pitches it wide to the outside. Veach, there's nowhere to go. He may have even lost a yard. Boy, Tyrone stringing him out. Tackle is made by Matt Shar, 6'1", 178-pound junior.
Matt Shar, the strong safety, comes up from his spot. Look at this. He hits Veach beyond the line of scrimmage. Great play from the strong safety Tyrone. Matt Shar comes up from the spot to tackle Veach for a loss.
I may have mispronounced his name. It's Matt Share. My apologies there. It is 3rd and 11 at the 29. Kornaski's got a strong arm. Blitz is coming. Now Kornaski's in trouble, and down he goes. Jason Brandt comes through the front door, lost back to the 20.
Jason Brandt, the big defensive end on the right side, comes through. Here you see he sheds his blocker. And quarterback Kornaski of Mount Carmel, all kinds of trouble. He just goes down with the ball. It'll be 4th and long. Time to punt for Mount Carmel.
Joe Costello, here they come. He barely got it out of there, but gets it to turn over. High end-over-end kick, going to take a Mount Carmel roll. That's a beautiful job by Costello to the 35-yard line, a 45-yard kick.
Well, that's a great punt from Costello, because I'll tell you what, that's about as dangerous a snap as a punter can handle. It was a short snap. He had to actually come up towards the line of scrimmage to field that ball and kick it. And, you know, you're moving yourself closer to the defensive unit. Somehow he got it away. Good punt from Costello.
Tyrone on offense, led by Jared Anderson, quarterback, 3-year starter. Marcus Owens, more than 2,100 yards. He had 1,557 yards a year ago. Here come the Golden Eagles, 12 miles from the door, playing the 3rd time on the carpet here at Mansion Park. 1st and 10 at the 35. Handoff, the big fullback. That's going to be Mark Weiland. I don't think so. Joe Shikatano will call his name all day long, along with Joe Costello in on the stop. Let's take a look at that Tyrone offense, and boy, they're big up front. Luke Friday, he's 240 plus, Mark.
Yeah, 240 plus on Luke Friday. John Siner, he's 227. Ken Parks, number 71, he's 205. A lot of 200-pounders up front for the Tyrone Golden Eagles.
Watch the tight end, Andy Woomer. He's 6'6", and I'll tell you what, he can get open downfield. He could be a big man before it's all said and done. Shar into the game at a wide receiver spot, along with LaRussa. Weiland and Owens in the backfield. Owens going to get his first carry. Coffee quick, has 5, has 10. He's midfield. Mount Carmel 40 to the 38-yard line. Marcus Owens, a hiccup to the outside, a gain of 26. First down.
Marcus Owens bruised his shoulder last week against Aliquippa. Sure doesn't show the effects of the bruised shoulder on this run. He was left out of the contact drills all week, and there he just hits the hole. Great hole open up on the right side of the line, and he just takes it to the near sidelines. Big gain for Mount Carmel. They are into Mount Carmel, Tyrone rather. They're into Mount Carmel territory. 1st and 10 for the Golden Eagles at the Mount Carmel 40.
John Siner, the center, sprung him for a gain of 26. Right at the 40-yard line, Tyrone with the first movement of the day. Owens trying to get to the outside, and Mount Carmel strings him up. In on the stop, going to be Jason Malikoski. Outside player, sophomore, and what a future.
Jason Malikoski, very fine down lineman. 6'3", 245 pounds. He's only a sophomore. There you see Joe Shikatano. These guys are losing a lot of their defensive unit. 8 seniors, 1 junior, 2 sophomores. Malikoski, the fine player who just made that play, is one of the 2 sophomores.
Best secondary in AA, according to most pundits, observers. Out of the coal region, Berwick, Southern Columbia, Mount Carmel, all within 30 miles of each other and part of the Grade 8 final field here in Altoona. Handoff going to be Owens, gets a crack, legs pumped to the 35, short of a first down. It's a gain of about 4 or 5. Going to be about 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 7, and this is where Mount Carmel really is tough.
They sure are. There you see the hole closed very quickly. The linebackers are very active for the Red Tornado. They really pursue the ball, led by, of course, Joe Costello, leading tackler in Mount Carmel school history.
Watch the tight end on a drag. He'll come late. We're talking Woomer. Backs are in an open set. Back goes Anderson, throws. He goes for Woomer at the 30, incomplete. Got off too late at the line of scrimmage. And the pass was too low, and I'll tell you what, he was not comfortable back there. Anderson, that is.
No, that's right. Anderson just, he didn't have the time to execute. Not a bad play that was sent in, because Woomer found a seam just beyond the linebackers, but quarterback was hurried, had to hurry his throw, low throw, Woomer couldn't catch it.
Well, doing 4th and 6, 4th and 5, no big deal. They actually won a game midway through the 4th quarter in a 4th and 3 play when Owens scored from 9 yards out. That came a couple of weeks ago. First big play of the game, 4th and 6. Anderson back. This is coming. Anderson throws against the grain, and the pass is dropped at the 30-yard line. Throws against the grain. Dangerous cover across the field. Incomplete. Looking for his fullback, Mark Weiland.
All those against the grain passes are very dangerous, but once again, the sophomore, Jason Malachowski, came in and wrecked that play. Collapsed the pocket. On the quarterback, Jared Anderson, he had to hurry this throw a little bit. Couldn't let the receiver get out into the flats where he intended to hit him. Incomplete. 4th down. It'll be 1st and 10 for Mount Carmel in their own territory at the 36.
Sean Jamin, he'll line up to the top of your screen. Backs are in an I formation. Veach, he's got his first big crack. He's got 5. Veach still going all the way up near the 45 and close to a Mount Carmel 1st down. A gain of 9.
Give it to him.
Okay, watch the right side of this line. Talking about Chicatano, Gary Dunn make the hole for Brett Veach, rather. Veach shakes the tackle right there at the line of scrimmage and continues upfield for a gain of 9. It'll be 2nd and 1. 1st down yardage. Very, very important for teams at this stage of the game. Pickup of 9. Can't do much better than that.
Had 101 yards last week in the Eastern Final and earned every square inch. Veach the 2nd time. This time, nothing there. He didn't get the 1st down, I don't believe. In on the stop, going to be Brian Bonsall, 5'11", 222 pounds. Let's go to Gary Sutton. Gary, the emotions are running high, and I think that was evident in that first series for both ball clubs.
Well, right now, what I'm struck by most, Jed, and I'm having trouble hearing you down here, is the fact that Mount Carmel is extremely quick along the defensive line. They showed that in the last series, and they mix it up on your level. One of the guys that stands out to me is number 41, Joe Costello. He seems to be around or in on every play. On the other side, you have a Tyrone team right now that I think is playing on high emotion, and they are really quick to the ball at the moment. But I'll tell you what, you just feel down here like Mount Carmel is a volcano waiting to explode. Back up to you.
They get the 1st down by the nose of the football. Brett Veach, 2 carries for 10 yards on this series. It's 1st and 10 of the 46. You get the feeling the first score, that is in any game, but especially this one is really huge, especially for Tyrone, coming in a bit of an underdog. Costello is fist on the carpet. Pitch back goes to Veach, trying to find some open space, and boy, they chop him down. They are all over it.
Okay.
Tackle is made by Scher. He's 6'1", 178 pounds. Going to see a lot of him at wide receiver, but defense is where he earns his paycheck.
Look, he's got some people out in front. Had a pulling guard, also Joe Costello out of the fullback spot. It was set up, but just good defensive pursuit on the part of Tyrone. Snuffed that thing for no gain. They're calling it a gain of 1. We'll call it 2nd and 9 at the 47-yard line.
They are really filling the running lanes well. Tyrone, that is, on defense. 2nd and 9. Play action, Costello's first carry, and he can't get anywhere. Tackle is going to be made by Dave Bonsall. He's 5'8", 190 pounds. He's a senior.
His brother, the junior, Brian Bonsall, around the ball, too. He's number 53. Watch right here, the linebackers. There's Brian Bonsall, number 53, and then his brother Dave, number 54. They kind of high-load him. Brian up top, Dave on the bottom. Gain of 1.
A family affair, creating 3rd and 8 now. Into the ball game is Dan Malachowski. He's a senior and he's at a wide receiver. Backs are in an open set. Kornaski sacked the last time he dropped back. He's back again. Blitz is coming. Oh, they set up Veach and he can't get it to him. Oh, they had that set up beautifully and Kornaski just could not get it there. 4th down and 8. Mount Carmel's going to be forced to punt.
Well, Big Ken Parks had something to do about that. Ken Parks out of the defensive tackle spot came in and he collapsed the pocket right away. I know that's what that play is designed to do, but Parks really, he's a big guy, put his arms up, and I don't think the quarterback for Mount Carmel, Vic Kornaski, really could have a good look at Brett Veach, the intended receiver.
Jamal Owens, younger brother of Marcus Owens. Jamal Owens, who's 135 pounds.
Punch away.
Costello, another good putt. This is going to be the little Owens now.
Your side,
15.
yeah.
Stutter step move and dives to the 26-yard line. Pretty good return. 6 minutes to go here in the opening quarter. Tyrone and Mount Carmel are scoreless.
I'll tell you what, head coach John Franco of Tyrone said earlier that what he wants his team to do, here you're going to see the kick, and this is the 135-pound Owens, younger brother of Marcus Owens, takes it upfield, and he's stopped at the 26-yard line, 1st and 10 for Tyrone. Anyway, what John Franco said he was going to do with Mount Carmel's defense, it's so very good against the run, he's going to try to set up some short passes. We saw that in their first series of down. They tried to go to Woomer, the tight end. Let's see if that strategy continues.
Pitch back, going to go to Owens this time. Yards grudgingly. Tackle first there, Steve Sinkovic. He's a twin brother of Mike. Also in on there is going to be Joe Chicatano again. We're going to call his name an awful lot. He's an all-state candidate on that defensive front for Mount Carmel.
You know, we talked about Mount Carmel's defense. It's absolutely amazing. And there's such gaudy numbers put up. On an average, they have held opponents to fewer than 100 yards per game on the ground and 100 yards per game through the air. Under that, each category, so there is very little weakness in this Mount Carmel defense. They're tight through and through.
Mark Weiland. Anderson going on an option. Pitch back goes down. Owens trying to get to the outside, and Mount Carmel strings it out. He may have had a yard, got back to the original line of scrimmage.
Would you look at the speed and the pursuit of that Mount Carmel defense. Marcus Owens takes the pitch, and look at this. They're already in the backfield, even before Anderson can get the ball to Marcus Owens. Shakes one tackler, and he was very fortunate that he wasn't pinned for a big loss. Gain of 2 on the play. It'll be 3rd and 8.
Jeremy LaRussa into the ball game at a wide receiver now. Also in is Sean Tennis, 5'9". Anderson, delayed draw, goes to Owens, trying to cut to the outside and chop down at the 30. In on the stop, Higgins again. That's his 2nd straight tackle, and he's been all over the place. Eric Higgins, 6'3", 195-pound senior, and there's absolutely nowhere to go outside.
No, there really isn't. Here you see Higgins coming out of his corner's position, and there he is again, right in amongst the ball. Joe Costello, the fine linebacker, number 41. You talk about the speed at the linebacker spot, and we're going to focus in on that throughout the game. These guys really pursue the ball. They go after it, and that's what makes this defense so very effective for Mount Carmel.
Bonsall to punt.
Punch away.
High end over end kick. Dave Evans going to get a return. It is 35. Trying to get outside, ran the wrong way, and Tyrone's all over him. 37-yard line, maybe a 5-yard return, and that's about it. 3.
Don't do that again.
Brian Garland in on the stop for Tyrone, and with 3:46 to go in the opening quarter, Dave Evans trying to find the seam, ran to the outside. Boy, they're just filling the lanes. Mount Carmel has just had nowhere to go upfield.
That's right. It was excellent special team play on the part of Tyrone. They did have every lane filled.
We'll see if they throw on 1st down. That's something neither team has done so far. Kornaski, he's thrown for over 1,300 yards. Going to go to the air for the first time. Pass caught by Evans. Nothing there. Line of scrimmage, and that's it. Who's in on the stop? Brian Bonsall also there again. Matt Scher for Tyrone.
2nd down, number 2. Number 2.
Now Kornaski tends to spread it around offensively when he does elect to go through the air. Veach, 19 catches this year for 370 yards. Dave Evans, 24 catches for 453 yards and 5 TDs.
Boy, they got 7, 8 guys in the box. They're just daring Mount Carmel to try one-on-one single coverage. Kornaski, draw play, goes to Veach, and he's chopped down. The undertow gets him. May have lost a yard. It's going to be 3rd and long again. Gary Sutton, one thing I've noticed about Tyrone, they're really flying to the open lanes on defense, and there's been absolutely no seal at all for Mount Carmel to play with.
Well, you know what? It's like a swarm of bees down here. The bees in this case are white, orange, and black, and the names of the Tyrone Eagles. These guys are after it every time, and you're seeing 3 or 4 guys to every ball handler that handles the football for Mount Carmel.
Veach, 6 carries for just 9 yards so far in the opening quarter. Kornaski back, blitz is coming, and down he goes again at the 25. Tackle is made by John Siner, 6'3", 227. He was all over it.
I want you to watch John Siner now. He just absolutely manhandles his man. Look at him come through the line of scrimmage and tackle the quarterback for a sack. John Siner put his man on his back, got into the backfield, registers the big sack, and Mount Carmel's forced to punt. It's 4th and 21. Ball on their own 26-yard line.
Well, if you like a little defense with your football coffee, this is the way to go right now. It has been dominant so far. High snap. They've been after Costello. This time it's off the side of his foot. And they're going to get great field position. And there's the first big break for Tyrone.
We saw it last time when Mount Carmel was forced to punt. There was a very weak snap, and the snap came back very lightly once again. It's not a crisp, hard snap. It's coming back very high, very soft. Last time, Costello had to come up for to field the snap. This time, he just gets it off. I think that could be a growing problem for Mount Carmel.
That was an 8-yard punt by Joe Costello. That really hurts. 1st and 10 at the Mount Carmel 34. Tyrone, excellent field position. Stellar field position for their third drive.
Best of the day.
Jared Anderson, 3-year starter. Handoff goes to Owens. Trying to get to the outside secondary. Move to the 29. Holding on for dear life is Sean Jamin for Mount Carmel. This is a great run by Owens. Yeah, he hadn't had contact all week, but oh, is he fresh for the big game today.
That's right. He hasn't had the contact because he bruised his shoulder against Altoona last week. This time, he puts that shoulder right into the blitzing linebacker, scoots through the hole, and picks up 5 yards on the play. Good first down yardage for Tyrone. It'll be 2nd and 5 on the Mount Carmel 29-yard line.
Mark Weiland, the fullbacks, rushed for over 930 yards. They've rushed for over 4,000 yards as a team on the season. They feature a balanced blend. Handoff goes to Weiland, and he runs right into Jason Malachowski, 6'3", 245. Train wreck, gain of a half yard. Chicatano is there as well.
Just a quick hitter to the up man. That was snuffed out immediately. Interior line is very tough for Mount Carmel and Tyrone. We've seen a great defensive battle here, obviously. Under a minute to go here in the first quarter. No score. This is the closest opportunity either team has had to a score. And Tyrone is still 29 yards away from pay dirt.
3rd and 5. Play action going for Anderson. This may open up. He's going to run for the extra yards. Throws, intercepted by Evans. Evans has it down to the 18-yard line. Evans, he's done a lot of that this year. One of the best defensive backs in the state of Pennsylvania, and he shows you why. Closing off a Tyrone threat here.
Dave Evans with his 8th interception of the year. Watch this. Good block by Marcus Owens in the backfield. Buys some time for his quarterback. Now Anderson's looking. He has his receiver momentarily. He's looking for Woom at the tight end. But Anderson's just a good athletic play to step in front and pick off the pass. And old Tyrone off the scoreboard as Mount Carmel will take over now. 1st and 10 at their own 19.
Kornaski. Give it off to Veach. Big hole. Has 5. Veach to the outside. 30. Veach to the 35 and out of bounds. Veach rips off a 15-yard gain to the outside, and that's the first time he's been comfortable and seen any open space at all.
Look at this, just a quick hitter. Veach reads his blocks very well, and he's got some very good instincts. Look at how he cuts to the outside, picks up additional yardage. Excellent running instincts displayed there by Brett Veach. Second team All-State last year. He'll be a first-teamer this year. 5'11", 175-pound senior.
Delaware, James Madison among the teams looking at him. Handoff, Costello, quick hitter, just a dive play. Message play, right into the line. Gain of a yard.
That was a let's get tough message play right there after kicking it to the outside to Brett Veach. Mount Carmel dug out of that hole. They took over at their own 19-yard line as the clock winds down and quarter number 1 is over.
And we have reached the end of the first quarter of play and still scoreless in what has been a big-time defensive struggle. I want to remind you this broadcast is underwritten by the dairy farmers of the Pennsylvania Dairy Promotion Program, who remind you that your body needs strong muscles, steady nerves, and quick energy to compete in today's athletics. Your body needs the right fuel. Got milk?
Tom, can I make a suggestion?
You're fired!
Welcome to eternity.
Rivers flow, love,
Heaven. Yeah.
forever.
No. Wait a minute. Where am I?
Got milk.
Mount Carmel and Tyrone scoreless at the end of one, and boy, the numbers are not impressive for obvious reasons. But a battle of defense.
No question about it. Total yards for Tyrone, 39 in that one turnover. Tyrone has gotten each and every yard on the ground. One passing yard for Mount Carmel, 10 rushing yards for Mount Carmel. That's not including Darren Veach's 15-yard scamper towards the end of the first quarter. And a total of 10 yards for Mount Carmel.
Get out to Gary Sutton and get his take on the opening 12 minutes. Gary?
One of the things that I've really been struck by here in the opening 12 minutes of the football game, Jed, is the fact that I think Tyrone is feeding off their crowd about as much as any football team that I've ever seen. Mount Carmel's got a huge crowd here as well, but they're more business-like in their approach. Tyrone looks to the crowd every time. You'll see him waving back to it. A lot of emotion over there.
Mount Carmel on 2nd and 5. Handoff to Veach. Tough run, but short of a first down to the 42-yard line. He'll need the 45. Mount Carmel 0 for 3 on 3rd down so far in the ball game as we are in the opening minute of the second quarter. Jason Brandt got credit for that last stop.
They say they're just using the left side of the lines, just a big push up front. Pick up a few on the play that'll bring up a 3rd and 3 situation for Mount Carmel approaching midfield. The ball at the 42-yard line.
Steve Sinkovich is in as an extra blocker now. Veach, he'll stand behind in a full house set. Pitch goes to Veach, trying to get to the outside. They've got this strung out pretty well. Nowhere to go.
Okay.
Boy, they really got that done. Cliff McElwain in on the stop. 6 foot, 187-pound senior.
Yeah, watch this. Cliff McElwain. There you see the pursuit of the linebackers, number 53, one of the Bonsell brothers. Now McElwain comes up from his defensive end spot, collars Veach around the shoulder pads and brings him down on a 3rd and 3 situation. That's a big stop for Tyrone. It'll bring up 4th down.
Costello to punt.
Punch away.
This time going to get it off the turf. Good coverage downfield by Mount Carmel, and Tyrone's going to have to stay away from it. Now the field position is going to work to Mount Carmel's advantage. This will be the worst starting point of the afternoon for Tyrone, and this could be significant. Huge punt by Costello. Last one went 8 yards. This one goes 51 with a little roll after the bounce.
You can't ask for anything more out of your punter than that. A 51-yard punt. That's a beauty. Opening moments of quarter number 2. No score. Mount Carmel and Tyrone tangling here for the AA PIAA Championship. There you see the Tyrone sidelines. Their head coach, John Franco, in his 3rd season, leading the Tyrone Golden Eagles. He's won 26 out of his 28 games.
In 2 years, let go by Altoona High School 4 years ago. Boy, Tyrone's now one of the big powers. Owens, nothing there to the outside. Who's got him? Joe Costello, of course, and Higgins. Make it Higgins on the stop.
Eric Higgins, defensive end, 6'3", 195 pounds. Came out, tripped up the running back right by his shoe tops.
Double stick, baby.
If they can't move their ankles, they're going to go down, and that's exactly what he did.
Well, the defenses have just been ferocious. There's been absolutely nothing so far. Biggest gain was like a 26-yard run by Owens. That came on their first series. Since then, nothing for Tyrone. Anderson, play action, going to keep it himself. Big hole up the middle, across the 15 to about the 17 or 18-yard line, short of his first down. He'll need about the 20-yard line.
3rd down,
I got to think this was a broken play. Jared Anderson takes the snap, and he looks around as if he's looking for a running back to pitch to, or at least a fake to. But his athleticism gets some positive yardage out of the play.
There you're looking at Joe Costello, one of the best in the state of Pennsylvania. Here's why.
You know,
always around the guy.
He makes that tackle, and that is after he took a tremendous hit. Great block by Woomer, the tight end of Tyrone. He's still in on the tackle.
He stays active. Hand off to Owens. Owens slithers through and has what appears to be a Tyrone first down. I think they're going to have to bring the sticks out. Let's go down to Gary Sutton. Gary, I think the electricity has worn off just a little bit as we settle into the football game in the second quarter here.
Well, it has a little bit, Jed, but if you're black and orange over there, I'll tell you what, those people are stoking the fire for Tyrone. Tyrone, though, seems to be playing with a little bit more resolve right now rather than on so much emotion, a little bit more business-like approach, much like Mount Carmel.
Jeremy LaRussa also in the game at a wide receiver spot as Scher. Backs are in an I formation. Jared Anderson going for over 1,000 yards this year. Hand off to Owens. There's nothing there. In on the stop, Malikoski. Nose guard. He's a good one. Shikatana was also in on the stack.
Second Hadaway. Second down, number 2. I got number 2.
I'll tell you, Tyrone's pretty much kept it on the ground. 10 carries for 39 yards for Owens thus far. And Tyrone has pretty much kept it on the ground since their first series. First, the interception 1 series ago halted their most promising drive of the afternoon. Dave Evans picked off a Jared Anderson pass.
Anderson looking at 2nd down and 9. Clock continues to melt here in the 2nd quarter. Now Owens goes in motion. Draw play. Goes to Winters, the big fullback. Weiland, rather. 6'2", 213. Came into this game with some gaudy numbers.
They're done.
More than 900 yards and 10 touchdowns on the season. You can see why.
Yeah, you're going to see a 213-pounder cut through the line. You get him a little bit of a crack, and he's going to wrap those both hands around the ball, lower his head, and gain positive yardage.
3rd and 5. 3rd down has been where we've been a lot in this game so far. They're 1 for 3 on 3rd down thus far. Anderson has really had no time. This time drops again, looks, throws, backs. Secondary route and overthrow. Scher at the 45-yard line. They tried to hitch and go, and Mount Carmel said, I don't think so. Yeah. No sail.
Yeah, the hitch and go, the out and up. It was, that's exactly the route they were trying. But number 29, Dan Malikoski, 5'10", 160-pound senior. He's got 7 interceptions on the year as well. Malikoski stayed right with his man, didn't bite for the fake. Good coverage.
Dropping back is Bonsall. At about his, let's call it the 14-yard line. They have soccer lines here. Mount Carmel hasn't really gone after a punt. This goes off the side of his foot, and Mount Carmel will let it go, and it's going to take a Tyrone roll down to about 34-yard line. The ball's still going a little bit. Somebody like tilt the earth or something. Make it the 33 or 34. It's a
41-yard punt.
Well, with 7:03 to go here in the 2nd quarter of play, it's scoreless right now. Gary, I know from a coaching perspective, I think really now when we said the first score would be big, I think the later we go into this contest, the more that becomes magnified.
I think you're exactly right, Jed. And you know, one of the things that's happening right now, both of the teams are playing this very close to the vest. You're not seeing a lot of passes. Both teams still in that feeling out stage here, even though we're into the 2nd quarter.
Kornaski will go into the shotgun for the first time. He's got a shotgun for an arm. This time has time. Looks, throws on the run. Higgins, the big tight end, caught at the 40-yard line. Gain on the play of about 7 yards. And I mean, he had to whirl that. Toughest pass for a quarterback is that. That's in the air almost 35 or 40 yards for a gain of 7.
Vic Kornaski coming out of the shotgun. He steps back, takes a 3-step drop. He's looking, waiting for his tight end to run his route, rolling towards his tight end. And look at the zip on that ball as he fires it in, finds his tight end, Eric Higgins. Good enough for their gain of 7, 2nd and 3.
More familiar set with Veach dotting the I. Veach, second man through, step around move, has the first down now to the secondary. Veach has the 40, still picking his way all the way down to the Tyrone 33-yard line. Brett Veach, stutter step move into the secondary, a gain of 28 yards. And Mount Carmel is on the move.
Watch this hole open up. He gets by the linebacker. That's one of the Bonsall brothers. Picks up a block right there at the line of scrimmage. And then it's all open spaces. Here's Eric Higgins leading the way out front. Veach trying to read his blocker, read what the defender is going to do. Picks up additional yardage. Big gain on the play. A 28-yard scamper has Mount Carmel into Tyrone territory. 1st and 10 at the Tyrone 32.
Veach 10 carries now for 54 yards. And Tyrone is going to call a timeout. Well, that Veach run about had to scare the Tyrone defensive staff to death. Because one thing you don't want to do with Brett Veach, and if we can look at that again, you can really see, Mark, that you better get him at the line of scrimmage. You cannot arm tackle this young man, and you have to get some hands on him.
That's a good point, Jeff. Because when Veach gets past that line of scrimmage, you give him some open spaces. He's a very shifty type runner, and you can see it on this run. Look, he cuts one way, stops, cuts the other way, back towards the middle of the field. Now he picks up his blocker. He's looking downfield. He's cutting towards the near side. Now back towards the middle of the field. Defenders really don't know which way he's going to go. Very shifty type of runner. Very tough to get a good hit on, too. So, yeah, Veach, once he gets into some open spaces, gets past the line of scrimmage, he's very, very dangerous.
Give Bonso a lot of credit for running him down from behind, because he did have blockers in front. Behind was the only way to get him.
That's the only way he was going to get tackled on that play.
Well, they run that wing T from time to time. You see all kinds of different sets. There's Costello, big pitch up the middle, good yardage, slams it to the Tyrone 27-yard line.
The execution on this play has to be very precise and perfect. The snap comes to the quarterback just turns around. Costello is already in motion. He just flips it into the air to Costello. He has to hit him in stride. That's got to be a very, very precise play, and Mount Carmel executed it very well then.
Costello about as subtle as a bear in a shot out of the fullback spot. That time just head down and just mono against mono for a gain of 6. This time they go with Veach. Through the revolving door, spins to about the 23-yard line, close to a Mount Carmel first down.
I'll tell you what, you could hear the hit that Costello put on in the backfield to the Tyrone defender. I believe it was the linebackers for Tyrone coming through on the blitz. Costello picked it up, and the hit, oh, you could hear it up here. It's Costello. He's a rugged one, number 41. Good block out of the backfield. There you're looking at the Mount Carmel sidelines. Coach Whitey Williams. He won the state title here in 1994 in just his second year as the Mount Carmel head coach. Double overtime thriller against Forest Hill.
Took over for the legendary Jas Demenek. Incredible run of 31 years at Mount Carmel. He was the winningest coach with 286 until George Curry of Berwick passed him this year. Well, Mount Carmel, it took him a while to establish things, but in this drive, here comes the run.
Yeah, Mount Carmel, 15 rushing attempts, 10 of them from Brett Veach so far.
Veach has 54 yards on the ground, a lot of them coming in this drive. 1st and 10 Mount Carmel at the Tyrone 22. Kornaski. They're going to try a little misdirection going to the outside. Veach going to be hemmed in again. Sharon on the stop. Bonsall is there. Also Ken Parks. Those 3 names we've called an awful lot in this first half.
If you're a coach of Tyrone and they start running this Delaware wing T or multiple formations, you want your defense to stay home. That's exactly what Tyrone did right here. Matt Scher, 6'1", 178 pounds, comes up from his strong safety spot to make the hit. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 10. The ball resting at the Tyrone 22-yard line.
It's getting late here in the first half. 2nd and 10. Kind of a nervous roar on the Mount Carmel side. Dave Evans will line up in a slot now. He's been a good secondary look all year long for Kornaski. He's under the gun again, and down he goes at the 32. Boy, a ferocious pass rush for Tyrone. Jason Brandt got him. Big loss on the play of 9.
Yeah, Jason Brandt, he's 188 pounds, and he's being blocked by Brett Veach. Brett Veach just can't keep him out of the backfield. And there you see, also coming in from the backside, Costello can't hold his man either.
3rd quarterback sack in the opening half for Tyrone, and they've been significant. That's really big there, deep in territory. This 7th play of the drive for Mount Carmel. Longest drive of the game for either team. Kornaski back blitz is coming. They get the middle screen, looking for Evans, incomplete. Boy, that was just a huge break, and I think the pass was tipped on the way by.
Well, that was the play, because the blitz was on, and a couple of linebackers came through. Defensive end, Jason Brandt was coming in again as well. And they had the middle screen set up, but I believe it was tipped by number 62, John Siner. Watch this right here. Yeah, Siner got a piece of that ball and wrecked that play completely. Didn't see that on the first go-around, but our cameras caught it, doing a great job here at Altoona. John Siner makes the big play for Tyrone. That'll bring up a 4th down situation for the Mount Carmel Red Tornado. 3:35 to go in this first half of play. And as the scoreboard would indicate, it's been a defensive struggle the whole way. Nobody's really even been close to scoring a touchdown, Jed.
Let's go down to Gary Sutton on the side right there. Boy, you know, Tyrone, picking it up on defense. Gave up the big play to Veach, Gary, but here they are, Tyrone that is, with their third quarterback sack.
Jed, when they started the game, it looked like Mount Carmel was trying to go a little bit east and west on a lot of sweep-type plays. They then switched back this series to going more between the tackles, and they were having some success with that. Tyrone made some adjustments, stiffened up and started to jam the middle, and you saw what happened on this last series. They really took them back. So an outstanding adjustment by Tyrone here with 3:35 to go in the second quarter.
4th and 20 now. Kornaski will go back into the shotgun. They leave some extra blockers in. Kornaski going to throw it downfield. Evans has got it. Touchdown! 32 yards. Evans was just one of 2 wide receivers to get downfield. They left extra blocking in, and it pays off in a big way.
There you're going to see the backfield. Shotgun formation. Vic Kornaski has all kinds of time. He gets some blocking up front. Dave Evans finds a seam right between the safeties. And look at the pass from Kornaski. Not much air under it. He zipped it in there for the 32-yard touchdown strike to Dave Evans. First score of the game.
What a year Evans has had. The kick is good. Flags are down. Might be a roughing call. We'll wait and see. They're going to decline it, or offsides rather, against Tyrone.
Number 54 is roughing the kicker.
There's a roughing call.
We have an option.
They'll assess it on the kickoff. That's huge. That means they'll be kicking off now.
Has been declined.
Well, no, they don't take it. Usually I thought they did that, but my mistake. Well, a long drive for Mount Carmel. Goes 8 plays, 67 yards, 3 minutes, 35 seconds, 4th down and 20. They hit Dave Evans for 32 yards.
And here it is from the end zone, giving you the end zone look. How Dave Evans saw that ball come in from Vic Kornaski. It was a nice throw, nice catch, touchdown. You know, football's a funny game. To that point, Mount Carmel tried 5 third down conversions, and they were unsuccessful on each and every one of them. Their initial 4th down conversion of the day, they score a touchdown from 32 yards out.
Penalty here on the kickoff.
Well, for Evans, his 6th touchdown of the season. He had one last week that was huge against Bishop McDevitt out of the Harrisburg area in the Eastern Final. He also had a big interception in that game that snuffed out McDevitt. Okay, they are going to assess it.
It will be a 15-yard assessment.
Dave Evans, 6 touchdowns on the year, 25
this is where you
catches.
start. Sorry, Mark. This is where you start thinking about onside kick. When you get this kind of break, it's a 15-yard roughing the kicker penalty, and you're kicking off from the Tyrone 45-yard line.
Yeah, anytime you're kicking off inside their territory, it's pretty good shape.
Well, Gary, Dave Evans, I was telling you about just what kind of player you like. He's a coach's type player. What are we talking about when we say a coach's type player?
Coach's type player is the kind of player that's going to step up in the big situation. He's going to tell you if he sees something. Dave Evans came over to Whitey Williams during the last play and said, I think I got my man one-on-one on the outside. I could take him to school. The play came back in and went to Dave Evans, and you know the rest.
Even if you touch it, it goes in.
And there's the guy who threw that touchdown strike, Vic Kornaski. You know, it was a great pass, but Evans ran a fantastic route. He just did a little cut in, found the seam right between the safeties, and Kornaski put the ball right on the money.
Now they're going to kick it deep. Owens going to take it halfway in the end zone. Touchback. They'll take it at the 20-yard line. Well, this broadcast underwritten by the dairy farmers of the Pennsylvania Dairy Promotion Program, who remind you that hard work and good nutrition will improve your performance in the classroom and on the field. You need the right ingredients in your training program. Got milk? 3:28 left to go here in the first half. 7-0. The difference in the game, a 32-yard touchdown pass. Vic Kornaski to Dave Evans on 4th and 20. Other than that, it's been all defense. Jared Anderson back on first down. Looks, has his big fullback Weimer, and nothing there. Weiland, rather. Chopped down. Malachowski got him. May have lost a yard. He did to the 19-yard line. This is a big league stick.
That sure is. The screen is somewhat set up, but Malachowski fights through.
That might be Higgins again.
Higgins, but yeah.
They're making mistakes on Higgins here. He's been everywhere.
Number 83.
Carmel.
That's a great job out of your defensive end, number 83. He just dropped back. He saw what was happening. He just dropped back and snuffed out that play right away. Loss of 1, 2nd and 11 for Tyrone.
Each team with 2 timeouts. Handoff goes to Owens, trying to get to the outside. has some positive yardage, and then the Red Tornadoes, the Red Wave, runneth over after a gain of 2 or 3. It's going to be 3rd and long again for Tyrone. They've been living there all day long.
You know, like a shark feeding frenzy. Looks like the Red Tornado smells a little blood right now. They got that first touchdown strike. That kind of kicked some life into them. The defense is coming out looking real good. Here you're going to see Marcus Owens stacked up right there just past the line of scrimmage. They did pick up, we'll say 5 on the play, 3rd and 6. That defense has given up just 74 points in 14 games all year.
But one thing you do is, and McDevitt tried it a week ago, trying to go deep on the secondary, trying to get everything back. Can't do that. Anderson throws, almost intercepted. Brett Veach, another stride, and he's in front of that and going the other way for a touchdown. That was
I believe that's exactly what you were talking about, Jed. Looking for a first down right here, and Veach nearly stepped in front of that to pick it off. Brett Veach, an excellent corner as well as a running back.
Jared Anderson, 1 of 4 mark for a yard and 1 interception.
Well, I mean, that's what Mount Carmel does to you.
Dave Evans will drop deep now for Mount Carmel. They're going to have pretty good time to work with and a pair of timeouts to play with as they look to get on the board one final time. Bonsel's kick, low line drive. Mishandled by Malachowski. He's got to track it down. Tyrone's going to climb all over him at the 34-yard line. Make it the 35. Well, it's a low line drive, kind of knuckled on him at the last second, dipped underneath.
Mount Carmel, they were going through a lot of motion, a lot of movement right there, right before the ball was snapped. Here you're going to see Malachowski, see it just go off his fingertips, but he does the right thing, keeps his head, gets the ball, gets a good handle on it, knowing that the Tyrone Golden Eagles are on their way down. But it initially appeared as if Mount Carmel was going to go for the block. Then they sent the 2 men back, 1 to receive, 1 to block. So maybe too much motion before that punt for Mount Carmel.
High formation. Now Costello's going to spread out a little bit. Kornaski, little draw play, goes to Veach. Might be a motion call against Mount Carmel as flags fly all over the place.
Okay.
Let's go down to Gary Sutton. Gary, this game kind of settling in a little bit, but you really sense Mount Carmel taking things over on both sides of the football.
On the red.
Yeah, you kind of get the impression, though, Jed, that this is a really important defensive series right here for Tyrone. We only have about 1:39 to go to half, and another score would really put momentum on the side of Mount Carmel at this particular point. So let's see what happens. Certainly the penalty is going to help Tyrone right here, but Mount Carmel is a team that can explode at any moment, as we've already seen, and they're going to try to do it right here on 2nd down.
Well, Mount Carmel trying to come back on them, Mark. They've only given up 26 points in their last 8 games.
13 in their last 4.
They did most there, just impressive. Veach, big hole, has 5. Now to the outside and a first down to the Tyrone, and check that all the way up to about the 47 or 48-yard line. Boy, Veach, you know, you talk coffee quick. Boom, to the hole to the outside.
Now we're going to see it right here. Takes the handoff, and look at the trap. Great trap blocking inside. You got the offensive lineman moving and opening up some holes for Veach. Veach scampers around the left side. Number 66, Joe Chicatano. Nice pulling block.
Sean Jamin trying to get a block laid out. Now Kornaski, play action. Blitz is coming. Steps in. Deep ball down the side. Looking for Evans. Caught by Evans and dropped at about the 10-yard line. 50-50 ball. Great coverage. Marcus Owens. Also down there was Mark Weiland. But Evans is so sure-handed, such a great athlete that you just never know, and he hung it up there.
Well, that's exactly right. You have fine athletes like that, and obviously they have a lot of confidence in Dave Evans. They just send your best athlete down there, give him a shot at hauling that thing in, and that's exactly what Coach Whitey Williams of Mount Carmel elected to do with under a minute to play here in the first half. Mount Carmel holding a 7-0 lead.
Went for it all downfield. Yeah. Great work by our camera crew at WITF. Everybody down in the truck getting you the good picture of the battle for the loose football downfield. Kornaski hung that 50 yards plus in the air. Play action, crossover, Jamin too tall. It's not an easy thing to do because Jamin's a pretty good target at 6'3".
Well, that's right, but that's a pure timing pattern, and Kornaski, I mean, he knows he just overthrew that ball.
You're throwing it into a space, not at a man.
That's
there.
Exactly right. and he didn't allow his man to get to that space quickly enough.
Timeout.
It's incomplete.
Now Carmel's going to talk it over. Whitey Williams going over to his offense right now to talk things over.
And remember,
Gary, this is, I think, a record-setting crowd for one game in the 9-year history of the PIAA playoffs. It's a tournament that's gaining in popularity, and it's becoming a big, big prize in a lot of areas.
Well, when you're talking about the areas around here in the state championship, this year you're talking about Southern Columbia and Berwick, and a storied program like Mount Carmel. They're all within 30 miles of each other. Throw Tyrone in, which is only 12 miles away, and you've got some people that have got some interest here from the local area. As we said, Tyrone's not been here since 1948. They're thrilled about this afternoon. Mount Carmel, a team that's used to success, but they've won only one state championship. They'd like to make it number 2 this afternoon. The atmosphere down here all afternoon has been nothing short of electric, as you said earlier. And if you look around the fence around the outside of the stadium, people are standing right now 1 and 2 deep everywhere. This is really, really a huge crowd.
3rd and 10 for Mount Carmel, facing long yardage again. Veach lines up at a wide receiver spot. They're going downfield for Veach. Intercepted by Scher. Scher trying to get loose, does to the 40. Now has sideline block, midfield. Scher still going. What a run back this is. He's all the way to the Mount Carmel 29-yard line. What a run by Scher, 40 yards. And with 2 timeouts left in 27 seconds, all of a sudden Tyrone has some things to do here.
That'll put a little steam back in Tyrone. You see the ball, it's just poorly underthrown. That pure and simple, it was just underthrown. And look at Scher, fights off the tackler, and then he's got about another 20 yards to travel here as he scampers downfield, and he sets up Tyrone in pretty good shape at the Mount Carmel 28-yard line.
Jeremy LaRussa will line up at a wide receiver spot. Anderson, who's only 1 for 4 back, looking. Now throws it downfield, man breaking away. Owens, touchdown! They have scored with 21 seconds to go in the half. What a play that is. 28 yards, touchdown, Tyrone.
There you're going to see the quarterback, Jared Anderson, just fade back, drop back, throws it from his back heel, and there he finds Marcus Owens. He outran the entire field. Marcus Owens has legitimate 4.4 speed in the 40. So from 28 yards out, Marcus Owens just basically beat everybody to the corner of that end zone, and he hauled in the pass that was floated up by quarterback Jared Anderson, and Tyrone's on the scoreboard with 21 seconds to go in the first half. It's 7-6 now. Mount Carmel still holding a 1-point lead, but that is pending.
I want to ask you a couple of questions. You might have 12 boxes of cereal in the cupboard, but have you got milk? Ever try pouring cereal back in a box? Not fun. Got milk. Ever pour iced tea on your cereal? Got milk. Well, got milk, got touchdown that time. Anderson to Owens, known for his running ability, Mark, but that time slipped into the secondary and got behind everybody for a huge score.
Well, he's the fastest guy in the field, and he...
Extra point is up and no good. Oh, that's a big, big miss that time by Luke Friday. They take a lot of pride in their kicking game. He had 45 points after touchdowns on the year.
Well, Kornaski, the quarterback for Mount Carmel, was 3 of 7 before the interception with 1 touchdown. And remember, that was another 3rd down attempt for Mount Carmel. They are now 0 for 6 in 3rd down conversions in this ball game. Of course, they scored their lone touchdown on a 4th and 20.
Boy, that really hurts, missing the extra point like that. Have a look at the interception. This is Matt Scher who set it all up.
Yeah, this is what set up the Tyrone touchdown. Matt Scher steps in front of an underthrown ball, and look at the strength and just the determination. Keep going, shakes the tackle, and then he picks up a couple of blockers downfield, and here comes the touchdown as Jared Anderson floats back. And at this time, Marcus Owens is all alone in the corner of the end zone because that 4.40 speed, he just got to the corner, quickest guy in the field. It was a foot race to the corner of the end zone. Anderson floated the ball up. Touchdown for Tyrone. Good play calling down there.
Burnt orange tee on the helmet. A burner might as well be Tennessee, right?
Sort of resembles that, yeah.
21 seconds to go here in the opening half. Tyrone, Friday's kick, gonna roll all the way back to Veach. This could be interesting. Veach is a home run hitter anytime he gets the football. Veach still going and then waved under at about the 33-yard line. Good coverage downfield for Tyrone. 13 seconds remain here in the opening half.
And number 1.
Well, anytime Veach gets the football, it's never dull.
Now, that's one of the reasons I believe Tyrone's squibbing it. Veach already has 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns this year, and they really don't want to give him a legitimate shot at returning one.
Well, you just give him one crack, an inch, and he'll take the mile on you.
That's exactly right. John Franco's seen the films.
This time we've seen Kornaski keep going on the quarterback draw, still fighting, and gets out of bounds. Oh, is he tough.
Boy, there was some hitting going on here on the near sidelines, and your quarterback's involved in the middle of it. That's got to make Mount Carmel head coach Whitey Williams a little bit nervous. He's probably talking to Kornaski right now. Say, I don't know if we're going to go up the middle again.
You might see him go to the end zone. He has the kind of arm to get there.
Yes, he does. And approaching midfield. They're at the 47-yard line. There you see part of this sellout crowd here today at Altoona's Mansion Park. Every
packed.
nook and cranny.
Kornaski's going to go back into the shotgun. You can bet he's just going to hurl it as far as he can throw it and see if they can get a bounce or a penalty. Kornaski going to step into it now. Here we go. All the way downfield for Higgins and tipped away at the last second. Boy, they were right on the money at about the 5-yard line, and that'll do it. Boom. What a first half. The opening 24 minutes in AA are in the book, and our score as we come to halftime, Mount Carmel 7, Tyrone 6. Mount Carmel hitting 4th and 20 to get their touchdown. 32 yards, Kornaski to Dave Evans. Then Matt Scher had the big interception, and then one play later, Jared Anderson, who'd been held to just one completion all the first half, found his man, Marcus Owens, behind everybody.
Yeah, he sure did. Scher took it down to the 28-yard lines on the interception. Halftime of the AA championship game, Mount Carmel leads Tyrone by the closest of scores, 7-6. Oh, most of the highlights came in the second quarter, late second quarter action, but the game started with a bang from Tyrone's Marcus Owens. First possession of the ball game. Look at this. Marcus Owens on a 24-yard scamper as he's showing some of his ability. A 2,000-yard rusher throughout the season. Marcus Owens with his longest gain of the day on that particular run. Next, we're going to see Mount Carmel produce the first turnover of the ball game. Jared Anderson, the quarterback for Tyrone, looking for his receiver, but who he doesn't see is Dave Evans, number 27 in red right there. Evans picks it off, his 8th interception of the year. That was the first turnover of the ball game. Next, we're going to see a couple of long runs from Brett Veach. Veach is having an outstanding first half of play. He, as well, is a 2,000-yard rusher throughout the year. Look at Veach read his blocks. Very shifty type runner. Veach, 14 carries, 71 yards in the first half of play. He's the leading rusher in the entire ball game, not only for Mount Carmel. Here's another long run by Veach. This time, fakes to the inside. Watch this. And he gets started again, reads his blockers, picks up Eric Higgins, number 83, is going to lay out a block in front of him. And he's tackled from behind, or he may have gone even further. Brett Veach, an excellent first half of play, 71 yards. Now we're going to see Mount Carmel's touchdown. It's Vic Kornaski, and he's looking for his receiver. He's looking for Dave Evans in the end zone. Evans has it, and he's into the end zone for the lone Mount Carmel score of the ball game. That was a 32-yard toss. Now we're going to look at Tyrone's interception. And this is a great run back by Matt Scher. Look at this play by number 12 right there. Matt Scher. It was a poorly underthrown ball, but watch the determination and the strength of Scher. Okay, he appears to be stopped, but he shakes the tackler, and he runs an additional 22 yards, 42 yards in all, and that sets up what we're going to see next, a Tyrone touchdown, as Tyrone goes deep into Mount Carmel territory at the 28-yard line. First play, 21 seconds left in the half. Jared Anderson finds his man in the end zone. It's the fastest guy in the field. Marcus Owens right there in the corner of the end zone, and that's where we stand, 7-6. Mount Carmel with a 1-point lead over Tyrone.
They had a sold-out environment here at Mansion Park in Altoona. Some of the numbers in that first half. First downs for Mount Carmel, 7, but Tyrone, the big turnover, getting the interception from Scher, got him right back in the ball game. There's been nothing, really, for either team. And, you know, they got here on defense, and they're showing us why.
I'll tell you what, you see that number 64 under Mount Carmel in the rushing category. I said Veach has 71 yards. Yeah, he does. We've had a couple of sacks in the backfield.
3 overall.
3 overall. Kornaski has been sacked 3 times for minus 30 yards.
Well, we got 24 minutes to decide the championship in AA. Let's go back down to Gary Sutton, who's been working the sidelines for us. Gary, you know, Whitey Williams, head coach of Mount Carmel, had the volume turned very high during his halftime talk. Sometimes you know when to turn it up or turn it down. Maybe you can, from a coach's standpoint, explain where he might be at there.
I was back in the hallway during the halftime talk by Whitey Williams and his staff, and what he did is send his defensive group outside the doors and kept the rest of his team inside the locker room, and they broke down specifically the things they felt they had to do this half. It was very businesslike, it was very professional, it was very intense, and that's part of the problem right now. I think he thinks his team maybe isn't intense enough. I'll tell you what, you could have fooled me the first half. I thought they played very, very hard. But they're very concerned that Tyrone's coming at them hard right now. They're very concerned that Tyrone has figured out some things on the interior, and I think you're going to see them come to the outside a little bit more in the second half. Although I think Tyrone is a very, very quick team. It'll be interesting to see how well that works. But you'll see them come a little bit more east and west, not so much north and south here in the second half, at least offensively.
Well, they've come from behind Tyrone, that is, to win the last 2 games in the PIAA. They won over Wilmington 14-10 in the Western semifinal, and then roared from behind to beat Aliquippa last week 14-13. Tyrone's right where they want to be, Gary. They said if they were within a touchdown heading into the fourth quarter, they felt pretty good about their shot. They're right where they need to be.
Well, as we said at the top of the show today, a lot of people down here from Tyrone were very upset at hearing word that, you know, they thought last week was maybe the state championship game with the defending state champion Bishop McDevitt and Mount Carmel. That certainly has not been true thus far. And they pretty much said, if we can stick around to the fourth quarter, and we're standing there in the fourth quarter, we're going to take this thing home. So we'll see how it all rounds out. Right now, 7-6 here at halftime with Mount Carmel leading by 1. But boy, do we have a lot of football to go. Back up to you guys.
Yeah, we do have a lot of football. And one additional point, Jet and Gary, this is the 3rd time that Mount Carmel has played right here at Altoona's Mansion Park. A couple of weeks ago, they met unbeaten Forest Hills in the district final here. They won the game 32-14. But it was a very strange game. They went into the locker room at half, trailing Forest Hills 7-6. Then they came out and blitzed Forest Hills for 4 second-half touchdowns. So, is Tyrone a second-half team? You betcha. And we're going to see as the second half is about ready to start. Captains meeting at the field for instructions from the officials.
Well, one thing, too, Mount Carmel has never trailed in a football game all year long. They've led really in this game from start to finish, Gary. There could be significant impact if Tyrone were to get the lead anywhere from here on out.
Well, it's obviously an unusual position to be in if you haven't trailed all season long, and I think that, you know, Tyrone is used to beating these kind of games, used to being the comeback kids as they've been called throughout the course of the season. And I think Mount Carmel certainly has to consider themselves a favorite coming into this game. I think what the first half did is it let Mount Carmel know that Tyrone is here for real. And I think if there was any question about the fact they'd be in a game this afternoon, all of those questions have been cleared up. And certainly Tyrone has maybe become the aggressor in this football game, especially with that score at the end of the first half, even though they missed the extra point. I think they have now become the aggressor. It's now up to Mount Carmel to try to regain that particular position to start the second half, since they are used to being on top.
In the second half, couple of things to look for. If Tyrone cannot get Marcus Owens, their fine tailback, going, he is a little bit dinged up. If they cannot get him going, I think Coach John Franco is going to look for instituting a short passing game, using his tight end, Woomer, and some short tosses from quarterback Jared Anderson to loosen up that Mount Carmel defense. And we've talked about the Mount Carmel defense throughout the ball game. They have played an absolutely fabulous game to this point. They got hit with the one long touchdown strike, a 28-yard zipper to Marcus Owens in the end zone, but that was really the only letdown they've had in this entire first half. So it's going to be an interesting second half. I think we've got a chess game coming up between 2 good teams and 2 good coaches.
Mike Sinkovich will kick off now for Mount Carmel as we get ready to start the third quarter. High kick, pretty deep. It's going to be little Owens, and I mean little, 137 pounds, and he is crunched. What a hit that is. Steve Sinkovich, twin brother of Mike, who kicked off 5'9", 195 pounds.
But Steve Sinkovich there had about, what, 30 pounds on the little Owens here? 60 pounds. He's 135. Sinkovich is 195. Ouch.
Well, last time the Tyrone offense on the field, touchdown, Owens, 23 yards.
I'll tell you what, though, back to that kick return. Coaches will tell you some of the toughest kids on the team are the kids who return kicks and punts.
Well, when you're a wedge breaker, it's something for courage there. High formation, Jared Anderson, 3-year starter at quarterback. Handoff Owens, steps across the 25 to about 27-yard line. Sinkovich in on the stop. Also there, Joe Shikatano, 6'2", 185 pounds.
And going ahead, right tackle, Ken Parks, big number 71. Look at this, Owens, who does have a bruised shoulder. He bruised it last week against Aliquippa. Oh, and he takes a pop right on that shoulder. That is a tough 3-yard carry. It'll be 2nd and 7, the ball on the 27-yard line for Tyrone.
Tyrone, 2 wide receivers. Sean Tennis into the ball game now. Also there is Matt Scher. He had the big interception in the first half. Misdirection goes to Owens. He's pumping quick to the outside. Can he get the corner? Yes, he can for a first down. He's got it all the way up to the 37 or 38-yard line. It's a gain of 10, and boy, can he find the corner.
Oh, yeah. Well, we just saw Marcus Owens use probably one of his finest assets, speed, to get that first down. Watch Marcus Owens. Fakes the handoff, and he's right there. He catches the corner and just flat out outruns everybody to the first down stick. Look at this.
Brett Veach had to push him out.
Yeah. Veach is a powerful kid, and he barely caught up with him to push him out. 1st and 10 for Tyrone.
Opening minute of the third quarter, 7-6, Mount Carmel by 1. The difference, a missed extra point. Owens again, nothing there this time. Tripped up at the line of scrimmage by, looks to be Sinkovich. He got an arm in there.
There's that
also
man.
Joe Costello.
Yeah, there's that man again, that linebacker. He just swarms to the ball, and Gary touched on it in the first half of play. The defensive speed on the Mount Carmel side, and it's keyed by Costello. Costello's just a very active, very busy linebacker. You're going to watch him, number 41, throughout the day.
Key when you play a 5-2 alignment, you have to have physical play and speed at the corners. Mount Carmel certainly does. Here's the big fullback, Weiland. Pretty good yards to about the 43-yard line. It's a gain of about 4 or 5. Well, there was nothing fancy about that. That's fullback dive that time, running right over Luke Friday and Ken Parks on the right side.
That's right. It's no secret as to what Coach John Franco of Tyrone's trying to do on this drive. He's just softening up the middle. Right there, Ken Parks with the block. Opens up the hole momentarily. The big fullback Weiland gets a couple of yards on the play. It'll be 3rd and 5 for Tyrone. Big play.
Nervous roar over the crowd on 3rd and 5. Anderson step over the middle. He's got the big tight end Woomer for the first down to the Mount Carmel 43. He's a target at 6'6", built like 6 o'clock mark. Not much fat on him, but I'll tell you what, a big target when you're doing this.
Yeah, watch this. Anderson gets plenty of time, and he finds his tight end. That's Andy Woomer, 6'6", 187 pounds, just a junior, right beyond the first down sticks. Excellent execution. Look at the poise that Jared Anderson had, the senior, when he dropped back, had the time, waited for his receiver to run the route, and then found him right on the numbers. That was a finely executed play.
10th catch of the year for Woomer, and it's a big one for the first down of the Mount Carmel 43. Owens trying to get outside, not this time. See who's got him. I think Shikatano again. He's been all over the place for Mount Carmel on that defensive wall. He'll be an all-state player when the votes come in, as will Joe Costello.
Yeah, look at Shikatano, number 66, just shooting the gap right there, and that's not an easy guy to bring down. Marcus Owens, he just didn't quit. Hit him initially and then tripped him up. Shikatano, Joe Shikatano, 6'2", 185 pounds.
Watch Adam Clark. He's going to be at the bottom of your screen, number 83 mark, 5'5", 125 pounds. He's a blur. Anderson play action. He's got time. He's looking, loading long down the field, looking for Scher, and he can't catch up with it at the 5. Step for step was Malikoski.
And number 83, Adam Clark, the guy you just mentioned, lined up on the near sideline. Jed, he was wide open at the 10-yard line.
Take your time.
Jared Anderson, the quarterback, really never looked past his primary receiver. As you see Anderson looking downfield. Now, at this time, on the other side of the field, at the 10-yard line,
that's Matt Montgomery. I made the mistake there. I thought that might have been Malikoski. Montgomery, step for step with Matt Scher.
Adam Clark wide open at the 10 on that play. Missed by quarterback Jared Anderson.
3rd and 12. Now Carmel coming hard. Anderson, can he get comfortable? No.
Okay, good hit.
Reason being was that Steve Sinkovich coming hard at the outside linebacker spot. Going to have to kick. You want to play a game of field position now with 8:45 left. John Franco, the head coach in his 4th year at Tyrone. Boy, what a turnaround here. Dan Malachowski, Dave Evans will drop deep. And a good block, gets it to turn over. Malachowski under it. Here we go. Tyrone has had good coverage downfield. This is more of same gang tackling at about the 18 or 19-yard line. The ground caused the fumble. Well, the Tyrone people really wanted it. This will be an interesting replay to see if it hadn't popped out before he hit the ground. Tough call. Ground cannot cause a fumble.
You know, we're locked into a very tight ball game, obviously, and a lot of people looking for breaks as you're looking at Malachowski field the punt. And this is not a fumble. Let's keep that in mind. But we may see a turnover. Turnover just may decide this ball game somewhere along the line. Tyrone, they're a -26 in turnovers.
Mount Carmel with the ball for the first time in the 3rd quarter. Handoff Veach. Pickle has 5, has 10. First down Mount Carmel all the way up to the 36-yard line. Gain of 16 for Brett Veach. And, you know, the thing about Veach that you got to like, a thoroughbred running back, better on carry number 20 than he is the first couple of the day.
Isn't that the truth? And look at how his hips shift and he swivels the lower part of his body when he comes through that line. So a potential tackler really has no way to square up on him. You really don't know where he's going to go.
Good vision, good running. They go together. Veach, here's the big quarterback draw. Kornaski, a very physical threat at quarterback at 6'3", and they're all over him. Pushing him around.
Okay.
Officials will get in there and break some of that up, make sure some of the tempers stay on an even keel. Reason they do this quarterback draw, and we'll see it right here, is big John Elsey, the center. He's the biggest lineman at 280.
Yeah.
There he is.
John Elsey, he's 5'11", 280. He's something, Elsey. And I'll tell you what, Kornowski, that's what he does. That is exactly why they run that right up the center. So as soon as Elsey snaps that ball to Kornowski, he's off and running. Right behind his big buddy, the 280-pounder.
They use that play for a touchdown. Big hole again for Veach. They close it, but not before he has the first down at the 48-yard line. They needed 6 and got just that.
Hey, this is a big run by Darren Veach. You know, you watch his eyes. When he comes through this line, he gets knocked sideways right here. But look at that. His eyes are still focused on where he wants to go. Get ahead. He knew where the sticks were. That's just great running instinct from Brett Veach, the fine running back from Mount Carmel.
He's having a big day all of a sudden for Mount Carmel. We'll put his numbers together for you. 7-13 now in this 3rd quarter. Mount Carmel trying to mount a drive. Veach again. Big hole up the middle. He's still going now to the secondary, all the way down to the Tyrone 39-yard line. It's a gain of 12 and a Red Tornado first down.
Right here, you look at that block by Joe Costello, his fullback, to seal a nice little seam. And then Veach uses his running ability to follow his blockers. 17 carries. Brett Veach over 100 yards. He's got 108 on the day.
The last 12 get them to the Tyrone 39-yard line. Handoff, Costello. He gets to the outside. Big hole. Costello inside the 30. He's still rumbling, stumbling to the 22-yard line. It's a gain of 15 more and another Mount Carmel first down.
Well, for the first time today, we've seen Tyrone's defense get pushed back on their heels a little bit. Why? Well, guys like Big John Elsey, 280 pounds. Joe Chicatano, 185. And Gary Dunn, 220 pounds. The offensive line of Mount Carmel starting to take control of this ball game a little bit at the 6:27 mark of quarter number 3.
Whitey Williams wanted them to win the battle off the football. So far, it has worked. Not there, though, as they get Veach. He may have gotten a yard, and that is about it. John Siner in on the stop, 6'3", 227-pounder.
Second down, gentlemen.
Tough break for Tyrone came earlier in the playoffs. Craig Starr went down against Wilmington, their leading tackler, 6'2", 242, season-ending knee injury. 2nd and 9 now for Mount Carmel. Veach again into the secondary. Veach stutter step move inside the 10. It's goal to go from the Tyrone 8-yard line. It's a gain of 13 more. And Brett Veach showing you why he's going to be first team All-State.
You just can't get a good lick on number 22, Brett Veach. Watch, we're right down here on the sidelines. This is the view you have. And look at this. Look at the shifty run. And Marcus Owens, he thought he had him right there. The textbook tackle, put the shoulder down towards the hips, but no. Veach almost sidestepped that tackle.
This drive started inside their 20. Veach got a big hole to the outside. Can he close it? Tyrone hems him close and stops him short at about the 3-yard line. Jason Brandt in on the stop, outside linebacker.
Here you're going to see Veach using a couple of his blockers out front. That's Dave Evans. Veach really has a nose for where he has to go. We saw it earlier on that first down run. He looked over, found the sticks, needed 6 yards, got 6. That time he was focused, of course, on the end zone as Mount Carmel looking for a score. 2nd and goal from the 3.
Sometimes they'll run the quarterback right over the center at this spot. Not here. They'll go to Veach. Big hole. Touchdown, Mount Carmel. What a drive that is. That's gold medal stuff right there. And I mean, there was nothing fancy about it, Mark. It was all done on the ground.
Yep, sure was. And this man right here that's coming into your living room, Brett Veach, he found his hole. It wasn't designed to go where he took it, but he found a hole, cut left, and scampered into the end zone for a 3-yard touchdown run.
Mike Sinkovich on for the extra point. The kick is up, and it is no good. That's a big mess. Huge mess right there. Stays at a 1-possession football game.
There, we're going to see the touchdown again. See, that's designed to go more towards the middle of the field, but he finds a hole. Good peripheral vision. He found the hole to his left, cut it to the left into the end zone. And Mount Carmel's on the board once again. 13-6 now the score. Mount Carmel over Tyrone.
Let's go to Gary Sutton. Gary, 9 plays, 80 yards, 3 minutes, 53 seconds. It's co-region stuff there, all on the ground. Mostly Brett Veach, who closes the deal from 3 yards out. He had 7 of those 9 carries in that particular touchdown march.
Brett Veach is definitely the man, a guy who can pick his way through defenses with abandon. But one of the guys that stands out, and I think Mark's called his name a number of times this afternoon, Chicatano, who opened up a hole in that last touchdown run of 3 yards. That hole was monstrous. I know it wasn't the hole that they picked originally, but I'll tell you what, you could have driven a Mack truck through the hole that Chicatano opened up in that left side.
Well, with 4:40 to go, again, the missed extra point throws a little life into the Tyrone cause, and, you know, you're within 7. I mean, there's still a long way to go, and what you got to do now is keep the ball for a little while. You got to move the chains.
Well, you do have to move the chains, and Tyrone did a couple of positive things in their last drive. Number 1, that short passing game, they got that going a little bit. They needed a 3rd down conversion, and they found their tight end, Andy Woomer. Anderson hooked up with Woomer on a big 3rd down play. So more of that, and this Tyrone team can get right back into this ball game very quickly.
Marcus Owens ripped down at about the 28-yard line before he could get going. Somebody's shaking up over there for Tyrone, and I think it's the fullback, Mark Weiland. Somebody stepped on his foot. He's trying to shake it off. He's in obvious pain in that huddle for Tyrone.
Yeah, he's limping. He really can't put much weight. It looks to be his left foot.
I mean, he's struggling in there.
Yeah, there you see him. That's Marcus Owens right there, but the guy right in front of Marcus Owens as he's going to take the lineup, the fullback.
See how much push he has. I'm sure it's not his number here. Anderson, pitchback goes to Owens. This is well designed, but what a play that is. Sinkovich rather, coming to the outside and got a flag, and it comes to the pile late. It's on Mount Carmel.
I'll tell you what happened here. Dan Malinowski.
Personal foul.
Ooh, big call in this game.
Where's my
Where is it here, Mark? What do you say? We'll rerun that here momentarily. It's at the 29 right now.
There it is right here, I believe.
Is it on the back of the legs? That's Montgomery there.
I believe it's on the back of the legs after Owens was down.
Gary Sutton, one thing, we've talked about over and over and over again, these officials tell you exactly
on the red
where the envelope is going to be, where you can push it. And I guess Gary's having trouble hearing us. This crowd, there's a din down there.
It sure is.
A sellout.
But you're absolutely right. And you know what? They talk to these kids in the field. And you may hear some of the conversation throughout the telecast today. They talk to the kids, and they eliminate a problem before it becomes a problem. And you may hear some of the conversation as we continue through the telecast today.
And you know where the laws are on the field.
Yes,
and these officials are right there. They've done a great job throughout the entire tournament. Pitch goes to Owens. This play has worked, but all of a sudden, Mount Carmel is beginning to fly to the football on the outside. Jamin was the first man there. Sean Jamin, 6'3", 185. He strung it out, and then Montgomery came in and closed it off.
Yeah, watch Sean Jamin. This is an excellent play out of his linebacker spot. Jamin coming right up here. Also, rest of the Mount Carmel defensive unit, but yeah, they strung it out, and actually, they're going to say no gain on the play, but they may have even pushed Marcus Owens back a little bit. But anyway, it'll be a 2nd and 10. Ball approaching midfield at the 44-yard line.
Matt Scher got single coverage to the bottom of your screen. You're looking at an I formation. Clock continues to wind to the 3rd quarter. Anderson looking. He's going downfield for Scher, and it's overthrown. And again, the coverage is just like Velcro. Sticky downfield.
I'll tell you what, the cornerbacks, Dan Malakowski and Brett Veach from Mount Carmel, they really haven't given Tyrone quarterback Jared Anderson a whole lot to throw at. They really haven't. The one touchdown from Tyrone came purely and simply from the speed of Marcus Owens. He's got a 4.40 speed. He just outran everybody to the corner of the end zone. Anderson laid it up. But on these coverages throughout the 1st and 2nd half, Mount Carmel has been very, very tough.
Tyrone, 2 of 6 on 3rd down, facing 3rd and 10. Anderson buying time on the roll. Looks, throws, has a man. Scher can't hold down at the 41. And takes a spill right over the Mount Carmel bench. Tough catch. Pretty good throw, though, by Anderson, considering he's throwing it across his body here.
Well, the coverage was there. And we're going to see Anderson. He fakes to the fullback, Weiland, and then he rolls towards his receiver.
Yeah, you got to sit.
And he's looking for Scher. Scher gets a couple of hands on the ball, but there's Dan Malakowski. He was covered. But the throw was where it had to be in order to be completed, but it would have been a very difficult catch. But that was just, once again, good coverage on the part of the Mount Carmel secondary.
Going right over that bench, too. 13-6, high snap. Hansel is there. They've had excellent blocking. High end over end kick, fair catch call for Malakowski. Stamps it out at the 21.5-yard line, and that's where Mount Carmel will come back out. Well, 1 first down, at least rested the defense a little bit. But again, they did not cash in on that little break on the personal foul call. And the Mount Carmel defense does what they do best, stiffen.
And here's a growing concern for Tyrone's coach, John Franco. My defense is going back out on the field. They were just out there for about 4 minutes and a 99-play, 80-yard drive that culminated in a Mount Carmel score. Now a minute later, and they're right back out there again.
Handoff goes to Veach. He did the damage in the last drive. He slithers and slides to about the 27-yard line. Pretty good gain on first down. 5 or 6 average yards on first down. We talk about it over and over and over again. Keys to any football game.
And right now, Coach Whitey Williams of Mount Carmel just running this kid, Brett Veach, right down the throat of Tyrone. That time, he went between the tackles. An interior run by Veach, picked up about 6 on the play. Once again, we mentioned the first down yardage. Good first down yardage, gain of 6, 2nd and 4 at the 28.
Kornaski is a big physical quarterback. Pitch this time to Costello, and they're all over him. Bonsall is there. In on the stop.
Okay.
Also looks like John Siner again. He's had a big game. 6'3", 227.
Yeah, there's Costello. He stood straight up by one of the Bonsall brothers.
And Siner also, Mark, who's had a super game up front today, along with Ken Parks for Tyrone.
You know, remember, Mount Carmel 0 for 6 in 3rd down conversions in this ball game.
50 to go. Kornaski back, looking, shovel pass to Veach, and they stamp him out on 3rd and 4 at about the 27-yard line.
Okay, back in height.
You know, we talked about
on the stop.
We talked about the speed of the Mount Carmel defense and the speed of the Tyrone defense right here, particularly the linebackers, just wrecked this play. Look at Bonsall. He stays home, shed his blocker, and tackled Veach for no gain.
They've been after Costello. Steps into it. And Tyrone will go away, and Mount Carmel takes a charitable role for Tyrone, and they're in pretty good shape field position-wise, up at about the 37-yard line. This is going to be a big, big possession in this football game for the Golden Eagles of Tyrone, coming into this game at 13-0, Mount Carmel 14-0.
I'll tell you what, John Franklin said he'd like to get a short passing game going, but I think that just the play of the secondary, the corners, Malachowski, Veach, the safeties, Evans, Montgomery, I think they've just shut it down.
Well, it's one of the better secondaries you're going to find. I mean, they get great speed, and they also play the run very well. And there's just been nothing downfield vertically today for Tyrone. Oh, it'll be Owens. Nothing there at all. I mean,
that's a big hit.
Linemen all over the line of scrimmage now. Shikatano, Sinkovic, also in on the stop that time. Looks to be Wojtowicz. He's a junior, 220 pounds.
Look at Shikatano. He just met him head on.
Joe Costello. Costello, the school's all-time leading tackler. He's over 400 for his career.
Last 2 carries, no gain for Marcus Owens. He's not used to that kind of number.
Coming down the final minute of this 3rd quarter. Going to try a little misdirection now. Big hole to the outside. La Rosa didn't get his first down, but I like the call up to about the 46-yard line. It's a gain of about 8 or 9, and you have to do some kind of misdirection, and this is the first time they've gone this way.
Well, that's right. The purpose here is to get the Mount Carmel defense moving the other way. They are so very quick. They follow the ball so well. Just try to get them moving the opposite way. A little trickery there, and it picks up positive yardage. 3rd and 1. Kind of a big play here for Tyrone in this ball game as we wound down to the end of the 3rd quarter, rather. 32 seconds to go.
Brent Sloss is in as an extra tight end. Where's the beef? It's up front.
Blitz.
Coming on the blitz, Costello. Oh, and step around move, first down. Nudges his way to the Mount Carmel 49. It's a gain of 4. Tough run by Owens. You know, you talk about his speed all the time at 4.4.
This may be the biggest 3rd down the conversion they've picked up. Look at Owens. Look at the strength he has to take those red tornadoes a couple of yards for a 1st down. It'll be 1st and 10. The ball on the 49-yard line, just across midfield. But that time, Joe Costello just came flying in on the blitz. He nearly had Owens in the backfield.
Right now, 1st and 10. The ball at the Mount Carmel 49-yard line. Mark Weiland looks to have shaken off that injury. Anderson, play action, back again. Now has to step into it. He's going to keep it himself and whip down at about the 47-yard line. Boy, that was a tough play. Great coverage downfield as you see the clock wind out the 3rd quarter.
The coverage was absolutely tremendous. They had one single receiver out there, and I'll tell you what, the Mount Carmel Red Tornado secondary was all over it.
Well, again, Anderson sees nothing and is forced to go upfield.
He only had one receiver to look at. That was Matt Scher, and the Mount Carmel secondary had converged on Scher, so yeah, he did the best thing possible. Take it upfield and run.
This broadcast underwritten by the dairy farmers of the Pennsylvania Dairy Promotion Program remind you that your body needs strong muscles, steady nerves, and quick energy to compete in today's athletics. Your body needs the right fuel. Got milk? Jed Donahue, Mark Shuey, Gary Sutton with you. And I know all 3 of us are going to say thanks to the Armed Forces mothers and the entire staff with our production crew at WITF for all of the great home-cooked food. Yesterday, the vegetable soup warmed us up on a cold day, and today, I guess, the bean soup. We haven't tried that one yet, but count on us being there.
Did you get any of those meatballs yesterday? They were homemade.
So the home cooking, so again, thanks to the Armed Forces mothers. I know a man who's very appreciative about that, standing on the sideline trying to stay warm, is our Gary Sutton. Gary, 12 minutes to go in the final in AA.
Well, this is the quarter that Tyrone has owned throughout the course of the year in terms of coming back. And now is the time again where they find themselves in a very familiar position, down 13-6, only one possession. Mount Carmel has been in a familiar position here too, leading right now going to the fourth quarter. Both teams in maybe what you'd say a position of strength. So the immovable object meets the irresistible force here, and we play the fourth quarter now for a state championship.
13-6 the score, and we are underway now. First play of the fourth quarter. Anderson on a quarterback keeper has a block out in front, but oh, what great coverage. Brent Veach on the stop. Also there, Jason Malikoski, 6'3", 245-pound sophomore, and he is going to be a dandy.
Steve Simkovich also coming up from his linebacker spot. I'll tell you what, yeah, I am very impressed. We've talked about it throughout the game, but the speed of this Mount Carmel defense, Anderson, that was by design, and it was a good play. It looked like there was a hole open on the right side, but it closed very quickly thanks to Costello and Simkovich. Very fast speed out of the linebacker spot.
Sean Tennis into the ball game at a wide receiver spot. Also coming on is Adam Clark. He's a blur, as we mentioned. One of the fastest guys on the team. Owens, he's going to go into a spot. Back again. Rush is coming. They throw. Intercepted. Evans is gone. Bringing it 30. Home at the 25. Touchdown. Mount Carmel. 60 yards. And that may just be one of the big steps to a state championship again. His 9th interception of the year is second today, and it's a hammer.
There you're going to see it. Dave Evans leads him the whole way. He's looking right at the quarterback, Jared Anderson, steps in front, and I'm telling you, there's not a Tyrone Golden Eagle within 15 yards of Dave Evans as he scampers down the sidelines on his way to his second touchdown of the ball game. He caught one receiving earlier. His second interception of the ball game, 9th of the year.
Kick is up and no good again by Sinkovich. 19-6 the score with 11:04 left. Dave Evans, talked about him before. He's not the kind of box score player you need, but boy, he's the kind of guy you'll win state championships with. Second interception today, and we're going to get another look at the return. Again, Owens did not turn around. This was a route that was run the wrong way. And when you run the wrong way sometimes, that interception goes the other way. This one does for a touchdown.
That's right, because, yeah, Owens did not turn around and look for the ball. And Dave Evans certainly knew where that pass was intended.
60 yards,
Look at
untouched.
That. Untouched. All kinds of room for Dave Evans as he scampers 60 yards into the end zone. But you're right, the intended receiver, bit of a miscue, didn't turn around, didn't come back for the ball. Didn't really know where that ball was thrown. Maybe ran the wrong route. We don't know. But nonetheless, Mount Carmel converts the mistake into a touchdown. It is now 19-6. The Red Tornado into the fourth quarter with a 13-point lead.
Tyrone side stud. Well, when he's 60 years old, his 60-yard touchdown run will be one he will never forget. He has really made some big plays in the postseason for Mount Carmel. Going to be little Owens to about the 26, and oh, the momentum's just all Mount Carmel right now. Let's go to Gary Sutton. Gary, you know, you talk about stopping the bleeding an awful lot. You know, Tyrone, at this point, the undertow, they need to weather a storm with 10:57 left. It's really tough for Gary to hear. I mean, it's a sellout crowd, 10,000 people.
It's a loud bunch.
Yeah, Gary, I think you can get us now. We're talking about Tyrone, more or less, weathering a storm right now.
Well, I think right now what has happened in the second half, and really at the end of the third quarter and beginning of the fourth quarter, you're seeing Mount Carmel now taking over both lines of scrimmage with their lines.
And again, the mental game is on. Players want the Mount Carmel fans to come into it. It's going to be a delay of game now against Tyrone. Well, this is the one thing.
False start.
False start.
On the offense.
Now, Tyrone's played a heck of a football game so far on defense. One thing you cannot do is just what, you know, you can't allow them to get gift points, and you know Evans really made them pay there on that 60-yard
Yeah,
INT.
he did, and they're a little bit off track right now. And I'll tell you what did it. It was that 9-play, 80-yard drive that took 4 minutes off the clock in the third quarter and culminated in a Veach 3-yard touchdown run. For the first time in that drive, you saw the defensive line of Tyrone get pushed on their heels a little bit.
Anderson going to throw down for Woomer as tight end incomplete. I think they've got interference there. Malachowski over the back. That'll happen sometimes when you're 6'6". You'll get that call.
Oh, that's right. Just a little bit of a collision right there. Just beyond the linebackers is Andy Woomer.
15 yards in high school football.
Here's the play. Dan Malachowski.
We're going to take the penalty from here.
Dwarfed behind the back of big Andy Woomer because Woomer, as we said, is 187 pounds, 6'6", and he's stretching to reach the throw from his quarterback Anderson, and behind him
automatic first down
was Dan Malachowski, who committed the infraction. He was all over the back of Woomer. Referees are right there to spot the infraction. So it'll be a first down for Tyrone. 1st and 10, their own 37-yard line.
Still plenty of time for Tyrone to collect things. Sean Tennis into the game. He will join La Rosa. 4 wide receivers are in. Got Mark Weiland back. You can bet it's going to be a blitz. Yeah, it is. They try the draw play.
Wow.
Shikatano coming on the blitz, stamps him out, lost back to the 32 of 5. It'll be 2nd and 15 upcoming now for Tyrone.
Boy, those guys acted like they knew the play. Look at this. Shikatano, number 66, coming on the blitz, and that's the exact hole that the fullback Weiland was looking for, and Shikatano was right there. Loss on the play. It'll be 2nd and 15. Well, they're putting it back to the original line of scrimmage, but boy, oh boy, Weiland, he was stung almost immediately.
Quarterback, sometimes you need to change off or check off right there, Mark. I mean, they handed it off right in the middle of that flurry.
Right.
2nd and 15. Anderson
Here they come
play
again.
action. Jamin coming on the outside and has got him back to the 20-yard line. Sean Jamin, another big loss. This one 12 yards. It's going to be 3rd down and 27 yards, and he has absolutely no time at all.
Here they come again. There's number 66 again, Joe Shikatano, out of his linebacker spot. But, you know, I'll tell you, he's the defensive end just shook his block. That's number 30, Sean Jamin. Excellent play. He's 6'3", 185 pounds. He's a senior. There are 8 seniors on this defensive unit. The Red Tornadoes, that's one of them, Sean Jamin.
Mount Carmel really beginning to feel it now. 3rd and 26. Back goes Anderson, looks down the middle, incomplete, looking downfield for Matt Scher, behind him at the 40.
You know, an overlooked aspect of the pass coverage that's been so very good for Mount Carmel today is the play, once again, of the linebackers. Did you see who was covering Matt Scher one-on-one in the backfield? It was the linebacker, Joe Costello. In fact, Anderson is 0 for his last 5 with 1 interception. Joe Costello, I mean, you've got to have a lot of speed to go one-on-one with your split out.
That interception return was, sorry Mark, that interception return by Evans is really deflating. I don't know if that's anything they can overcome, but we shall see. In a short punt, Mount Carmel's going to get great field position. Gary, I know we're not on any big limb here, but Mount Carmel's really on the pedal. They're really stepping it up now.
What Mount Carmel did the last series was simply to blitz the linebackers every time, but when they were 3rd and 26, and then zone with their defensive backs. It was absolutely effective, and Tyrone really is bewildered at this particular point. It looks like a steamroller coming at him right now. In fact, it's just a Red Tornado that's eating up everything in its path.
25-yard punt gives them 1st and 10 at the 46-yard line. Vic Kornaski, senior, will be beat, tries a step-around move. Good gang tackling. That's something the Tyrone defensive front's done very well today.
Yeah, they
You see big number 71, Ken Parks. I mean, they have really helped each other out defensively, filling the lanes.
And they've gotten a lot of help from their linebackers as well. Their linebackers, they're talking about Dermott and the Boncell brothers. They have really helped out their front mates. A good effort from the Tyrone defensive unit this afternoon. They've just been on the field too long in the second half.
Kornaski, handoff to Evans. Evans still going and spins forward, close to the 1st down to about the 37 or 36-yard line.
Wow, big right tackle.
About him, can you?
Watch this, big right tackle, Mike Boyer. He's 245 pounds. They have him pulling leading the way for Veach. There you see him cutting through right into your living room. And that's Evans, rather. And Evans takes it up for positive yardage. It'll be 3rd and short, 3rd and 1 at the Mount Carmel 36-yard line. But, you know, they have tremendous athletes up front, both teams. You know, you get big 245, 50-pound guys pulling like that, leading the charge. That takes some athletic skill.
Veach is back in. He'll dot the I. Kornaski, the quarterback, runs right behind his escort service. John Elsey, 280-pound center. No problem to get a yard.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes football's a funny game. Mount Carmel is leading this ball game 19-6, and what we're watching right now is Mount Carmel's first 3rd down conversion in the entire ball game. In 8 tries, they're 1 for 8.
Ryan McGee is into the game now. Evans will take a break. First time we've seen McGee today. He's going to line up to the top of your screen at a wide receiver spot for the Red Tornadoes of Mount Carmel, looking for their 2nd AA championship in the last 3 years. Quick handoff to Costello, the fullback. He pounds it for maybe a yard, yard and a half. But that's a message play. That's also what you know is a clock eater at this point, because that's becoming a significant factor for Tyrone.
That's exactly right. I mean, it's 7:20 and counting as you're looking at the dive to the middle from Joe Costello.
Probably going to be the small school player of the year by the Associated Press. I have a feeling he's a lock for that. I mean, play a little fullback too for you, and it does it very, very well.
One of the most storied high school programs in Pennsylvania history, and he's their leading tackler in history.
Play action for Kornaski on the run. He's been sacked 3 times. This time runs out of it, sticks his head down at the 28, 29-yard line. And well short of a first down. Well, the senior group for Mount Carmel, of course, here 2 years ago for the double overtime thriller, 21-14 against Forest Hills. And, you know, they didn't feel it was their team, so to speak. It was the seniors at that time, and they really wanted to make a statement. Last year, they struggled a little bit, got upset in the districts and didn't make it back. This year, I mean, they've been focused from start to finish. You're looking at one of the really, really big-time stories in AA over the last few years.
Yeah, you look at their offensive output throughout the first couple of games of their regular season. 43 points, 54 points, 35 points, 47 points. Amazing offensive output.
Big draw to Veach. Breaks 1 tackle and then swarmed at about the 27-yard line, gained a yard. So 4th and 5, you know they're probably going to go for it here. Clock now really becoming a factor. Gary, how frustrating is it? Why don't you role play for us? Be John Franco, Tyrone. You're down by a pretty large number now, and you don't have many numbers to play with on the clock. How tough is that? What kind of feeling or empty feeling can that be? I guess he can't hear him. Okay.
There's Veach. Brett Veach has had a fabulous game. We just saw him. 24 carries, 128 yards today.
4th and 5. Kornaski has time. Now runs out of it. Throws on the run. Intercepted. It's Scher's 2nd of the day. Scher trying to get down the sideline. Still going to the 40. Scher bounces around and gets it up to the 47-yard line. They're not done yet with 5:11 to go. 37-yard return, Matt Scher. His last interception came late second quarter with less than a minute to go, and it set up Tyrone's only touchdown.
This is really only the second poor throw that Kornaski has caused today, and both of them picked off by that man as he comes right past our cameraman and scampers upfield for a 37-yard gain. The second interception from Matt Scher. Kornaski out of the shotgun formation, looking, and he gets pressured, and that's what forced the interception. You can credit the defensive line.
Jared Anderson under the gun, throws. Costello. Why is he going to be Defensive Player of the Year? That's why La Rosa hit immediately after the catch. May have even lost a yard or got back to the original line of scrimmage.
Hey, watch the speed of number 41, Costello, too. When he sees where the play is coming, like Gary said, they're in zone coverage back there. When he sees where the play is going, he closes that space immediately. Gain? No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd and 10. Ball approaching midfield at the 47-yard line.
Some guys have what they know, that football sense, football smarts. Costello's one of those kind of players.
Yes, he is. Blitz.
Anderson, play action, now looking blitz, going to buy himself some time. There's a holding call downfield. Pass is caught by La Rosa, but it's coming back.
Yeah, I believe maybe Weiland, someone who was in the block for their quarterback,
Higgins was coming like a house on fire,
He
as
sure
was
was.
Sean Jamin for
Oh,
Mount
hold on,
Carmel.
55.
Yeah,
What do
Higgins,
we
the
got?
defensive end, number 83, 6'3", 195 pounds. There you see Kornaski. He can't be too happy with himself.
But no, we're
He likes,
holding on them.
he likes to sit at the end of the bench all by himself.
We have holding on you guys,
Teammates let him
55.
alone. He really doesn't want
right,
to
you're gonna
talk
take
to
it or you
anybody
won't?
throughout the game.
Take the
And I'm
penalty.
sure right now he's collecting his thoughts as we're looking at Jared Anderson roll out. And there's the hold right there. It is on Higgins. The defensive end was really collapsed in that pocket, and he got him from behind, basically tackled Higgins.
I will.
And the referee was right there to spot the infraction.
Higgins had a heck of a day for Mount Carmel at that defensive end spot. He has been all over the place. Chicatano. Another guy having a huge day is Mike Foyer. Jason Malachowski, he's only a sophomore. Whoa, what a future he's got. They're going to be climbing all over him on the Division I level. You've got a feeling before it's all said and done.
Two
19 to 6. It's a younger team too. They'll just reload next year. They're going to lose significant players. Anderson's just not comfortable there at all, and just no time at all to get things going. Intended for share.
I'll tell you what, these defensive ends, we're talking about Higgins and also number 30, Sean Jamin. These guys are doing a whale of a job. They're really pinching in and collapsing the pocket, getting through their blocks. As we look at head coach Whitey Williams from Mount Carmel, who won a state title here in just his second year as head coach of the Red Tornado. And he's looking for another. 3 years. He's 4 minutes and 2 seconds away from a second state title. Here you see some of the sights and sounds of Mansion Park in Altoona.
Anderson looking long, loading long. Owens in his 4.4 speed can't catch up with it at about the 24. He had it out there and he had enough air under it. He just couldn't run it down.
Well, we know Jared Anderson has an arm and a lot of arm strength.
Take your time.
Saw it on that throw.
Now 4th down and 23 to go with 3:55, and they're going to be forced to go for it. They're going to call timeout. Gary, I mean, it's a very frustrating feeling. This is what we tried to ask you before, and we'll do it now with John Franco, head coach of Tyrone. How empty is it from a head coaching standpoint? You don't have much time to work with, and you got a big-time number now to try and come back from.
You get that moment, Jed, where you think you have an opportunity you can maybe capitalize, but Mount Carmel really has just taken away everything Tyrone did in the first half in the second half. They have not allowed them to control the line of scrimmage. They've taken away their receivers. They're rushing the quarterback constantly and making him rush and make mistakes. And you see the result right here. 4th down and 23 yards to go. What was an opportunity has now turned into gloom and doom for Tyrone.
And you can certainly see the effectiveness of Mount Carmel's defense and Jared Anderson's numbers for Tyrone. The Tyrone quarterback just 2 of 9 passing in the second half of play.
Timeout's over. Timeout's over. Timeout's
Reminder,
over.
this broadcast underwritten by the dairy farmers of the Pennsylvania Dairy Promotion Program will remind you that hard work and good nutrition will improve your performance in the classroom and on the field. You need the right ingredients in your training program. Got milk? Right now they're asking Tyrone, not only got milk, you have a 14-point play that we can find here in a big hurry. Right now they need to convert 4th and 23. Anderson back. Anderson steps in and down he goes at the 29-yard line. You're really beginning to feel now that Mount Carmel is closing in on state title time in AA, and I think the fans, as you see right there, are sensing the same thing we do.
Well, once again, the defensive ends pinched in. You're looking at one of them right there, number 83, Eric Higgins. The linebackers weren't coming this time. They were staying home, but look at Higgins. Here he comes, and he gets help from his buddy on the other side. That's Sean Jamin. Another sack, and it'll be 4th and, what, about 3 or 4 miles, so...
4th down and 23, and now Mount Carmel will get it. 1st and 10 at the Tyrone 29-yard line. When Tyrone hung around. Now Kornaski over his big 280-pound center, John Elsey, for a gain of about 3 or 4, and that's just for the clock.
Right. Whitey Williams will just keep it up the middle. Very safe plays. Run behind the huge offensive line and work on the clock. Here you see it. Big John Elsey, number 75, clearing the way. Basically, very simple play. Snaps the ball to his quarterback and says, follow me.
Gary, we just had a picture of John Franco up a while ago, and I think the resignation that this game may be over is beginning to settle in a little bit. And after this play, I want to get a thought from you. 19-6. Underneath, 3:10 to go, as you see on your screen. Kornaski, handoff, Veach, he's had a big day to the outside, 20. Veach has the 10. Veach inside the 5 to the Tyrone 4-yard line. One of the great careers in Pennsylvania is coming to an end on an exclamation point, if you will, to the outside.
There we're going to see Brett Veach once again takes the handoff, and this time they go left side. And Veach, very good speed, just outruns everybody to the corner, gets a good block there from Sean Jamin before he's finally brought down inside the 10. It'll be first and goal for the Red Tornado from the 4.
There's Joel Bechtel, our producer, there on the sideline. Kornaski handing it off to Joe Costello. Where's the beach, right, Joel?
Yeah. Hey, it is pretty balmy for this time of the year here. It's not bad. It's approaching 40 degrees. They're not expecting precipitation today. But anyway, back to the ball game there. Costello, he's just gets knocked around in the middle of the pile there.
I think they'd love to get Costello a touchdown for what he's meant to the program over the last few years. Senior co-captain. He's in right now. Veach. Boy, how many touchdowns has he had? He's had a whole season's worth. Veach will be the motion man. Pitch goes to Costello. Room to the outside. Steps in. Touchdown! Mount Carmel. Looks up into the crowd and says, yeah, I know we're number 1 now. 25-6 conversion coming. Red Tornadoes bringing another title to the Coal region. That's going to be 11 now in that football hotbed of Pennsylvania. Berwick winning another championship in AAA. Southern Columbia was turned away in single A. But Mount Carmel has won it again. Extra points in Kovich, this time no good. Well, I have a feeling the soccer team's going to lose a player in the offseason. He'll be auditioning a kicker.
Yeah, you mean Whitey Williams is going to scout the soccer team for a new kicker?
Here's the senior. They wanted him to score. You know this one.
Yeah, that's exactly right. For what he's contributed to this program, the leading tackler in school history, just a solid football player, great fullback as well. And that time he pulls into the end zone for 5 yards out, putting a cap on what has been an outstanding season, perhaps for Mount Carmel, and about a minute 54 away from a second state title in 3 years.
Gary Sutton, I have to ask you, head coaches know the game's over, but they refuse to smile, refuse to acknowledge anything, and look all business. Why is that?
Well, you don't get to this game without playing well. 13-0 is not a season that you're ever going to sneeze at, and certainly Tyrone, the sting is going to hurt today. But when they sit down and think about it, they're going to think about a season of happy memories. You know, you're looking at a program here with Mount Carmel that's one of only 5 in the entire state that have won over 600 games over their storied histories. This program is at the very top. You have Easton, Newcastle, Williamsport, and Berwick. That's pretty heady company, Jed.
Well, I guess the only thing now is when are they going to dump the cooler on Whitey Williams? 25-6, the final, not the final yet, but that's the score. High kick, Sinkovich camping under it. Going to be Marcus Owens, and he's got the 31-yard line. Gary, what I was going to also ask you there, and maybe you can hear me a little better, is coaches, even when they're in front like Whitey Williams, refuse to acknowledge anything this early. I mean, we know Mount Carmel's going to win, but Whitey Williams is all business somewhat.
Well, Whitey Williams now is allowing himself the luxury of a few hugs. He knows this game's now in the bag. But I know, having coached in the state basketball championship and having won one, you know, the last 2 minutes you're thinking about all the different ways you could lose. Well, I think Whitey Williams is in that enviable position with 1:47 to go of now having all of those areas covered. His team has done the job here in the second half, and they now have the luxury of doing just a little bit of celebrating. But you're right, Jed, most times you're worrying about all kinds of different combinations. 2 years ago, Whitey Williams' team had to win in double overtime. This time, it's going to be a lot easier.
It'll be a screen pass for Owens, incomplete. I'll tell you what, Tyrone had their feet in the fire much of the afternoon. They did not really look like they were safe until Dave Evans ran that interception back 60 yards. That's the That and the big 9-play drive, I think, really just took the starch and took the air out of this thing.
Oh, yeah. Mount Carmel was certainly in a ball game. You know, Mount Carmel, since the playoffs began, they started their playoff march with a 28-0 victory over Wyasali. Beat Central Columbia, 21-0. 43-6 over Hanover, 18-7 over Bishop McDevitt. So this is a very, very close ball game. A couple of fourth-quarter scores have opened it up a little bit, but Mount Carmel has been in a ball game for much of the game, and they're really not used to that, as some of the scores would indicate if looking at their seasonal record. But when you talk about Tyrone, too, they have come from behind to win their last 3 ball games to get here. So it's a very gritty group, but, well, just their last 3 opponents obviously didn't have the talent and the defensive ability that this Mount Carmel Red Tornado had. And this is a very, very tough team to defeat when you have to come from behind, as evidenced by today's game.
Well, as good a defense as you'll see in the state. I mean, their secondary, Mark, you just can't get downfield, and you can't get anything going as far as the vertical passing game goes.
And they play their assignments so well. Excellent coverage. Good man-to-man coverage.
Anderson looking downfield, intercepted. John Kalinowski. He's part of the future. He's a junior. He'll play a lot next year, 5'8". So the minute 34 to go.
What Coach Whitey Williams is doing now for Mount Carmel is he's emptying the bench a little bit, giving the kids who are going to, as is John Franco, giving the kids who are going to play next year a little bit of taste of the magic of Altoona and a PIAA AA State Championship and being involved in the game.
I think Whitey Williams is looking around going, you know, it's about 30 degrees out here. I don't want that cooler. Timeout, Tyrone. Gary, one thing we're looking at, you know, you talk about one of the winning traditions. Mount Carmel is, what is it, about 3 hours, you would think, from Altoona as far as a drive. And, you know, we've talked about Coal-Region football, not only a tradition, but it's a lifestyle. And, you know, what a support they get.
Unbelievable support. You know, football is a town game. And the town of Mount Carmel is a place that's very, very proud of their tradition, as witnessed by their 660 wins in their 100-year history. This is one of the oldest programs in not only Pennsylvania, but in the country. And so the pride has lasted for a long time. And, you know, jobs might be down. People might be a little bit depressed from time to time, but something like this has a way of bringing people back to the forefront and making everyone just a little bit more proud about who they are. Mount Carmel today is one of those places. They've had a storied history. They add another chapter to the legend.
Mark, I think Tyrone also, you take this step right here, as we look over at their bench and John Franco, their head coach, this is a program to really watch in the Western Tier.
Oh, there's no question about it. They've been playing football at Tyrone since, for 77 years, and this is their first undefeated season since 1948. So obviously John Franco has this baby pointed in the right direction. 26 out of 28 games he has won in the past 2 years. So yeah, this is a growing power here in this region of the country.
Mike Wojtovich is in at quarterback. Ryan McGee getting the carry on that last one. Counting out the final ticks of this final in AA. 25-6. And there we are. It's good to see everyone. Hello. Great weekend of football here in Altoona. You just can't say enough about a 47-yard. Not a gain of a yard, 47-yard line. Not a 47-yard game, but the 47-yard line. Gary, one thing, you know, sometimes when the weather elements here, I mean, this field has really held up well. 5 inches of snow before the weekend started, but it's pretty fast track, and it's held up well.
Oh, I think the field has been absolutely magnificent, Jed. You know, last night we had a little bit of crystallizing in the water here, but today it's just been as good a service as you'd ever want to have. We've dodged all the precipitation we were going to get, and I'll tell you what, it has been one heck of a field to play football on. One of the nice advantages to having the artificial turf, and now the 10-second countdown.
They're counting it down. Ryan McGee for the final play in the football game is tackled at the 40-yard line, and this game is over. Mount Carmel has won the championship in AA by a final of 25-6. Co-region goes 2-1. The 3 teams they send to the show here. And Mark, The 9-play, 80-yard drive set the tone. The knockout punch came from Dave Evans, 60 yards with an INT. Mount Carmel, second state title in 3 years. There's Whitey Williams, your head coach.
And Brett Veach, 150 yards on the day. And Veach put a capper on that 9-play, 80-yard drive. He had 7 carries during that drive. He really put the team on his back, coming out of the locker room at half in the third quarter and said, okay, tight ball game right now. Follow me, boys. Let's go to the end zone. 9 plays later, 80 yards later, they were in the end zone. Brett Veach finishes the game with 150 yards rushing and a touchdown as the Mount Carmel Red Tornado win their second state title in the past 3 years.
All right, there's your final score. Mount Carmel wins it by a final of 25-6. Great day for the Red Tornadoes defense. Tyrone hung in there for 2.5 quarters, had the game pretty much close heading into the fourth quarter play, but it was just too much of Mount Carmel down the stretch, and that'll do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now call your attention to the 50-yard line, where Dr. Robert Lombardi, the Associate Executive Director of the PIAA, would like to present the 1996 PIAA Class AA runner-up trophy to Tyrone head coach Mr. John Franco and number 65 player captain Greg Stahl. Also receiving medal captains number 10, Jared Anderson, 23, Marcus Owens, along with 62, John Steiner, and 55, Luke Friday. Congratulations to the Golden Eagles of Tyrone High School, your 1996 PIAA runner-up as well as Western champion. And now we'd like to ask Mount Carmel head coach, Mr. Whitey Williams, as well as their principal, Richard Firesmith, to please come to midfield, where the chairman of District 4, Mr. Jack Ziegler, has a very special presentation for you. At this time, Whitey Williams and Principal Richard Firesmith receiving the 1996 PIAA Class AA State Championship Trophy. Congratulations to the Red Tornadoes of Mount Carmel High School, your 1996 state champions. On behalf of the PIAA, we also take this opportunity to thank the fans from both these ball clubs. You are both certainly class acts. You've displayed great sportsmanship here today, and on behalf of the PIAA, thank you for your support of PIAA Championship football.
A lot of people to thank for our stay here in Altoona for this championship in AA. The executive director of the PIAA, Mr. Brad Cashman, Dr. Robert Lombardi, and of course, Mr. Elliot Hopkins. A lot of thanks as well to Tom Bradley and the entire school district for Altoona area, as they just make our stay here over the weekend magnificent. It's just kind of a tradition now, this first week in December. Final score, Mount Carmel 25 and Tyrone 6, the championship in AA, Mount Carmel area. State champs again in 1996, second one in 3 years. Have a good day, everybody.